Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first game in the semifinals between ClassicPro and GoldenEnd. This is a best-of-7 series. Whoever wins the series will go on to the finals and have a good shot at winning the majority of the $1,000 prize pool for this tournament. I'm joined here with Lidacor. My name is Nobody. We are currently streaming both in the Boobly official channel and on twitch.tv/Lidacor's channel. And on the left side, we have GoldenEnd playing as the Berbers. On the right side, we have ClassicPro playing as the Mongols. What do you think about these players, the map, the civilization, whatever you'd like to talk about?
Well, first of all, about the players, I am not familiar with either players that much, so there have been some players that I didn't actually watch during the tournament, and these are two guys from those. So, about the players, I don't really have any opinion. I won't actually say who has the edge over here. About the saves, though, it was kind of predictable that one of the players goes for Mongols. Obviously, GoldenEnd can do that because Classic Pro banned Mongols from him. Going Berbers here is a little bit of a surprise to me, though. It could work. Now, what I'm thinking is Camel Archers, because if I'm not mistaken, Camel Archers do have bonus against other Cav Archer units, so Camel Archers could even be good against Mangodai if I'm right. Still, the hunting advantage of the Mongols will be an extremely huge factor earlier in this game. Looks like we have a pause.
A little bit pause to start the game. It's interesting. So I think when the Berbers were initially conceived and their Camel Archer was conceived, the Camel Archer was intended to be an anti-cavalry archer, and it still is. But it's also a really good overall unit. But I think the Berbers were really there to really stifle the Mongols in team games. So that's an interesting one. Overall, the Mongols should be a stronger pick because of their hunt bonus, and there are 3 boars on Scandinavia, so certainly that hunt bonus comes in very handy. But the Camel Archer will be something that the Mongols has to deal with going into Castle Age if that does occur. And Scandinavia is not known as a map where you typically wall, castle, and go for your unique unit. But certainly there are a lot of trees on this map, and that might be a viable strategy for GoldenEnd.
Yeah, this map looks indeed quite interesting, just judging by the sizes of these forests over here. So basically, looking at GoldenEnd's map, he's surrounded by 3 huge forests, one of them at the back. This is going to be a beautiful, safe back source of wood for him. And also the other one is going to wall himself off almost completely. So basically, I think GoldenEnd can just afford to put down a few walls, and he's completely secure behind that. He's going to have a beautiful back gold. Also,
yes.
Okay. Looks like they have a wrong version of the map.
Okay. That's Aspiring Expert Scandinavia, but... Alright. So let's jump out.
So yeah, I think still believe that Mongols could be a better option over here. So the thing is that I'm thinking about at this point is that, well, with the Mongol hunting bonus, you're going to get your eco up way faster. And for that reason, I believe that an early push, even before Berbers could go for their Camel Archers, could happen. And I'm not exactly sure if Classic Pro will be able, or GoldenEnd will be able to handle that.
If you were playing, which civilization would you actually choose for your game?
From Berbers or Mongols?
Yeah.
Mongols. For this map, absolutely Mongols. You get a lot of flexibility with those. Also, you can just use the mobility of the Mangodai to avoid those Camel Archers to some point.
Are just as fast, though.
Well, that's true. The thing is that I just believe that we might not even reach the stage where GoldenEnd goes for Camel Archers. That's what I'm thinking. So, Mongols, you can start off with a decent amount of scouts very soon, especially thanks to the hunting bonus. If you get your food eco up well, you're going to be able to pop out some decent scouts. So you should be able to harass the Berber player quite well. On the other side, though, I'm curious to see if Classic Pro will try to actually go for some knights early Castle Age.
That's something, I mean, the Berbers are really good at, but you don't really see that too often. I guess because just their Camel Archers overshadow that. But, yeah, their Knights and Camels can certainly be a strong option. I mean, it really depends on how the game's going to go. This map in particular is not a good map for cavalry, I'll have to say. It's way too close.
Yep, agree on that one. So Also, fishing eco is going to be extremely important for both players. What do you think? Which of the players would rather go for heavier water push? So we've seen this in the match of Project Belgium and Cool, that I had a feeling there that Cool was way overextending on water. So could we see that one here as well?
Well, another interesting thing to think about the Civ matchup is the water bonus of the Berbers. Their ships move 15% faster, and that's particularly useful when you're microing in a battle. Granted, I think the Mongols bonus with the uptime is better, but it is something to consider. A lot of different aspects to the civilization matchup. Would you like to give the introduction this time?
I can do that. I can do it if you want. So
Yeah, go ahead.
So, here we are. Welcome, everybody. This is going to be the first match of GoldenEnd versus ClassicPro, the semi-final of the Aspiring Experts Cup Gold League. Whoever wins this one will actually get inside the finals and face Project Belgium there. So, we're going to have ClassicPro playing as Mongols on the right side in yellow. Down the south, we're going to have GoldenEnd playing as Berbers in blue. Now, I think I'll give the word to you to actually talk about the maps over here.
Oh, I'm sorry, what? What?
The maps.
Oh, okay.
The maps.
So let's take a look at... so we've already dissected the Civ matchup as much as possible. Let's take a look at the maps. GoldenEnd has it's a much different kind of map. I mean, last one was a lot more foresty. They have switched it from Scandinavia version 1 to version 1.1. And this version's a lot more open, or at least this particular map generation. The GoldenEnd's front space is going to be very open. In fact, he has a board that's way out there. Left side and back side might be wallable, but if you have an open front side, that's certainly not something that's, that you look for. As well, GoldenEnd's close to the southern waterline, so he'll probably go for that. I'm going to take a look at ClassicPro's map, and he has a forward gold. He's also taking the forward lumber line, which can be problematic. His map is a little bit more closed, so it'll be a little easier to wall it off. But overall, I think if players put the effort in, then they can wall. Otherwise, they would leave it open.
Yeah, that's true. Beautiful backstone there, I would say, for ClassicPro, but this front gold is going to hurt him quite bad. I mean, if he directly wants to go for Mango Dye, then he's going to need that gold. And his secondary gold is also the quite unfortunate spot, so he could be denied of gold quite easily. But on the other side, GoldenEnd, well, his stone is at extremely unfortunate position. So, well, he has some backstone, but that's not a great spot either. So, going for Camel Archers might be an issue for him if he gets denied of that stone early on.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to look at the stone positions, because both these players probably want to go into their unique units. I have to assume that the Mongols would still go Mangadai, even when threatened by the Berbers' Camel Archers. ClassicPro going to get close to the town center, but it looks like he's trying to lame it a little bit. But he's just going to get out of there and not lose too much HP. But so the stones are going to be very important. I do have to say that I think that the Mongols will be the aggressor in this matchup, so I'm not as worried about the forward gold for ClassicPro. We'll see how it shapes out. Hopefully, GoldenEnd won't run to the town center either. It looks like he will.
Yep. That is most likely a beautiful position for a TC.
I spoke too soon. Yeah, he's going to lose the scout. Oh! Whew.
Yeah, that's a huge lose. That's a huge lose, especially that he could have actually tried to pick off the villager building a dock. Yeah. So, early on, also quite worth noting that, okay, GoldenEnd has Loom now, so ClassicPro's scout won't be able to do that much for damage there. So,
and as
also quite worth noting that ClassicPro's Deer is at the front, so that's not a great spot for him either, because, well, he obviously wants to go for some hunting after the boars as well.
So just after losing the scout, GoldenEnd going to heavily wall his base, probably as a result of losing the scout, because now his opponent can go for any strategy that he would like, and GoldenEnd is not going to be able to find out about it. So doesn't want any to take any risks, going to wall the front of his map. It's going to put him a little bit behind as far as economy is concerned. GoldenEnd with a back dock, and ClassicPro with a dock in the north. Of course, GoldenEnd has the luxury... ClassicPro has the luxury of finding his opponent's dock, and GoldenEnd is not going to have that luxury.
Yep. I feel like ClassicPro could actually afford to go for scouts at this scenario because, well, he has his starting scout with almost full HP, so if he pops out, like, let's say 2 additional scouts, then he should be alright picking off villagers with those three. Although, well, if he scouts around these walls, he might actually just change his mind, because by the time he actually gets up to scouts, Golden will mostly be walled. Although these are kind of long walls, and just a single layer of palisades, that's something I'm always scared about. It's just so easy to break through those.
I think traditionally you think with this much food, you're going to go with a scout build. But the way that GoldenEnd Scout has walled, and since Classic Pro has scouted that, I think that Classic Pro is probably going to go with an archer build. The archers will be able to get through the walls easier and also be able to hit the wood line and prevent villagers from walling behind. And that's exactly what Classic Pro probably going to do. He's got 3 villagers on gold. It might be some time before he adds a barracks or an archery range, but for the time being, he's actually going to go for a galley rush and build a dock in the south. So archers maybe in the future, but for now, galleys.
Yeah, that's going to be a beautiful move from him if you think about that. So he's way ahead in feudal age time. He should be able to pop out some decent galleys before GoldenEnd could do anything about that. So this is definitely a beautiful moment to strike. Yeah, he's going for the fire galley instantly, and I feel like he could even pick off 1 or 2 fishing ships before GoldenEnd could even get up to feudal.
Look at this move from GoldenEnd, though. This is such a smart play. He's taking one of the fishing ships and is going to scout the dock of Classic Pro with the fishing ship. And that is such a veteran move.
Yeah, that's definitely a good move, but still, he won't be able to fight those fire galleys anytime soon, so might lose one or two of his fishing ships. Doesn't look like GoldenEnd will actually drop a dock on the other river, so far Classic Pro's fishing eco is going to be safe, and he's going for the huntables as expected. Now the thing is that, okay, Classic Pro moving forward with villagers, could he try towering the stone of GoldenEnd?
Yeah, it's good to take away your opponent from stone. The other stone has been walled out by GoldenEnd, and Classic Pro can clearly see that. So if you're the Mongols player, someone in my chat asking how can Mongols possibly counter the Berbers when the Berbers' unique unit is a counter cavalry archer, and the Mongols are of course known for their cavalry archers. The best way would be to take an economy advantage, go aggressive, and take away your opponent's stones, and that looks to be what Classic Pro's plan is.
Yeah, here we go. 4 barracks for Classic Pro, and now archers would definitely make sense in this situation. So even if he can't build a tower over here, it looks like he's not gonna tower the stone, he's gonna tower the wood. Surprising for a little bit, I think.
Well, I think he's going to go for the immediate damage right now. So if he towers the wood line, that's immediate damage. And eventually he could work his way over to the stone. Since he's going to get the... Oh, actually he's going with a stable. That's really interesting. I assumed he would go with an archery range. That's a weird one.
Yep, that's true. GoldenEnd with 2 docks now, he should be able to push back Classic Pro for the time being, but still, Classic Pro's fishing eco is going to be completely safe, so not even a dock harassing it from GoldenEnd, and he's going to have a tower up. Eventually, I'm not exactly sure if I like this outpost from GoldenEnd. For a moment, I thought that this is going to be a defensive tower, but no, this is just an outpost.
Yeah, that outpost gives you the same line of sight as your house, so it doesn't make much sense, but it's not a big investment regardless. Going to go with the tower now to prevent the walls from coming up. The scout play actually makes a lot of sense if you can get in real quick, like Classic Pro has done, and then move in with the scouts. And let's see if he's going to do that. Looks like he is.
Yep.
Still a hole,
this is gonna be...
and 2 scouts are in.
Yep, failed quick walls there, and oh, that is a low HP villager there on the gold mine. 6 HP villager, that is a huge mistake.
I'm sure GoldenEnd never thought that any scouts would be at his base, and now he's going to lose 2 villagers because of it. And those 2 scouts are still going to get away with pretty good HP. A good advantage for Classic Pro, killing 2 villagers in the early game, and still has more fish, well, has the same amount of fish, actually, as his opponent.
Yeah, this has been a beautiful move. Oh, we could see another villager pick there. That should be a pick, because no one is near the TC to garrison.
The 3 villagers down, wow.
That is some very early damage done. Now I'm browsing around the villagers. Those hunters are also kind of low HP, so already huge damage done by Classic Pro. Look at this, more scouts arriving.
GoldenEnd needs to wall his base. He still has that little hole, and the scouts are running through it. He should wall to his town center. Now 3 scouts doing a lot of damage. This might be an early GG from GoldenEnd as he loses a 4th villager, and a 5th could even be on the end, and there it is, GG.
Yeah, this is a disaster for GoldenEnd. Absolute disaster. I'm not exactly sure what he was focusing on for a moment. I mean, 2 scouts got inside. Okay, that was a failed quick wall there. But after that, all the lumberjacks were still working there. And instead of just placing a palisade there, he was still working there with the lumberjacks. Also, lumberjacks were under fire by the towers, so it was like he wasn't even focusing on this region of the map, possibly trying to save his villagers. Maybe that's what I can think about.
That was crazy. So if GoldenEnd walled a little bit faster, then the scouts would have been out, and then the scout play would have looked completely terrible because archers would be the preferred unit. But since those scouts were able to get in because there was a hole in the wall and do the damage, then that was just a quick GG, and good play from ClassicPro.
Yeah, beautiful play from ClassicPro over there. So yeah, eventually towering the wood kind of worked out for him. So. Yeah, that was absolutely a beautiful move. I'm not exactly sure where GoldenEnd messed it up though. So where was the point that when GoldenEnd kind of made a mistake?
Well, he definitely made a mistake with his walling. Losing a scout was the big one. Losing the scout, walling up super early, and then just not walling in his base and not making a military production building. I think those would be the mistakes you look for.
Yeah, Brax could have helped so much over there. I mean, 1 or 2 spears could have been able to prevent all this disaster, but instead... So, second match, upcoming Valley Fort Regicide, one of my favorite setups over here. Spanish available for both players. Are we gonna see a Spanish mirror?
Probably. Probably. We could see Chinese as a strong civilization for any regicide start, because of the extra villagers, but I think Chinese should be saved for Bedouins, as that's a really strong civilization there. So I imagine this is going to be a Spanish.
I've been so savage. So, second match upcoming between ClassicPro and GoldenEnd. After a quick GG on Scandinavia, nobody's going to introduce the teams. I mean, nobody AoE, not...
We get it. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So let's introduce some of the players. It's currently 1-0, as Lidicor just mentioned. We are seeing a Spanish war, as expected. In the top, we have GoldenEnd playing as the Spanish. And on the left, we have ClassicPro playing, of course, as the Spanish as well, in yellow. Both players moving out towards the middle to get that hunt right away. ClassicPro shooting down a boar already. And it looks like GoldenEnd will as well, although he has quite a bit of idle time to start the game. A little bit of a messy start for GoldenEnd.
Now, what do you think about this approach? So, there is 2 different ways to approach this hunting situation. So, GoldenEnd going with the mill very early on and going for deer. Instead, something that you rarely see from players, going for the boar directly in the middle instead of luring them under a TC. Also, quite worth noting, look at this. ClassicPro already going on 3 farms.
Yeah, and GoldenEnd is on 5 farms currently. So all about the food buildup. When you start with regicide resources, you start with actually a good amount of wood. You start with, I think, 300 wood. So you don't really have to worry about wood too much in the early game. And I think it's just best try to get up to the feudal age as quick as possible. And I really like that decision to kill the boar first, because when you build your mill, you're able to drop it off right away. And even ClassicPro taking advantage of the shorefish. I think that ClassicPro probably will have a good food advantage in this early game between GoldenEnd's idle time, going for the boar first, and then the shorefish.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Now, looking at maps, ClassicPro's castle isn't at a great spot, to be honest. I mean, well, it doesn't really have the possibility to snipe down the king of GoldenEnd, which is definitely a factor, but more importantly, it's kind of blocked by this forest over here. So this is not a great castle spot, I would say, for ClassicPro. Yeah, on the other side,
Go ahead.
This is a beautiful castle for GoldenEnd, I would say. Yeah. So this is...
Yeah, comparing it to GoldenEnd's castle, which does protect at least the left side of his main base. At least it does something. So that could be nice, because you want to prevent the Conquistador raiding as big as possible. This is all about the Conquistador raiding. I don't think we'll see scouts this particular matchup, but I could be proven wrong. So you definitely want your castle in a good position, and it was something that ClassicPro decided not to restart. So each player has a restart, but they choose when to use it.
Well, I think he's confident that he can actually make this happen. I mean, previous match was kind of a one-sided victory for him, and well, this is a best of 7, so you just have one restart. It might be a little bit too risky to call it in the second game when you're actually leading 1-0. We've seen way worse maps than this one, so this is not a great, or not an ideal castle, but well, this is not gonna be an extremely huge issue for him, I believe. Fuel Age way faster for Classic Pro.
Well, once again, I have to eat my words, whatever the phrase is, that I've been proven wrong once again on this map. And last series, it was a scout rush. This series, it looks like it's going to be a militia rush from GoldenEnd. GoldenEnd could actually kill the deer of his opponent with this, if he so chooses. But he's hanging out in the north a little bit too much. He's not really going towards the mill.
Yeah, this is something I don't understand, to be honest. I mean, he's probably waiting for the free militias to arrive, because still, villagers with loom against just standard Dark Age militia are kind of alright. So just the sheer villager numbers over here of Classic Pro should be able to overwhelm those militias, I believe. Still...
You think GoldenEnd goes for the king here?
Oh boy.
Oh, weak villager.
But the king! Look at the king!
He's taunting them.
This definitely has to be a taunting. Still, that was a huge mistake there to go for with a weak villager. I mean, that's why you have farms. Oh, he's gonna keep the gate open as well. This is a disaster from Classic Pro.
Yeah, epic disaster from Classic Pro, and just a lot of disasters in this early game for these players. The second village is going to go down. Nice strategy from GoldenEnd. Very creative strategy. I would not have thought of this at all. We have a 4 militia rush from GoldenEnd. When you're playing as Spanish, I just think about conquistadors, and it's been a really good move for GoldenEnd to go for the militias. GoldenEnd will have to click up to the Castle Age sometime soon. So yeah, I guess we'll have to see, going into the Castle Age, see what early conquistadors can do for Classic Pro before we can evaluate if this was a 100% successful strategy.
GoldenEnd going for a stable now, that's surprising to me. I mean, why would he go for a stable? He almost like wants to go for conquistadors. Only thing I can think of is husband, or...
no, it's the second building. Second building to advance.
Yeah, second building, but mostly you see players going for market and blacksmiths, just like Classic Pro does, so it's a little bit surprising to me that he went for stable over here. Kind of makes sense, but
yeah, I think when it's Conquistador versus Conquistador, the bloodlines and the husbandry upgrades are going to be important.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. A little bit of a waste there on the scout from GoldenEnd. Eventually, that was just a very low HP scout, so it doesn't really matter that much now. Even losing these militias won't matter that much. The damage has already been done. 2 villagers killed is more than enough for GoldenEnd, I think. Also, Classic Pro is going to lose his scout over here to villagers of GoldenEnd. A little bit of a waste there, so he won't have a chance to actually scout around
more. So neither player with their scouts anymore. Both of them losing them, but not too much of a big deal. I think that both players will be moving on to Conquistadors. Classic Pro might have a little bit of momentum with his Conquistadors, but they'll probably be bogged down a little bit by these militia. They're going to have to clean them up first before moving out. Regardless, Classic Pro should have a few more Conquistadors out compared to GoldenEnd. That is if Classic Pro can keep his economy working in good order.
Yep. Classic Pro is still scouting around with his king now. He needs to watch out though, because, well, GoldenEnd will be up to castle very soon as well. So this could get very bad for him if he doesn't actually pay attention. Or he could just call a Project Belgium and hide his king right next to the base of GoldenEnd over here.
And Classic Pro, interestingly, not going to deal with the militias. He's actually going to move out right away. Let's see if he sees he actually doesn't see the castle of GoldenEnd, so he could run straight into it. Let's hope he doesn't. No, he's going to move to the right. And this is the right decision. Try to do as much damage as possible. Doesn't need to worry about the militias. Let's see if he can do any damage and get in.
Well, the thing is that he's gonna spot the gold, and this is basically the only accessible gold for GoldenEnd. His secondary gold is also quite an unfortunate position, so a Classic Pro could potentially raid those gold miners, and that could be a disaster for GoldenEnd over here.
GoldenEnd going to try to defend with Conquistadors at his, on his own, but since he's later up to the next stage, since he made the militia, he is at a little bit of a numbers disadvantage. Classic Pro taking the hill. GoldenEnd with a early bloodlines and early husbandry upgrade. So certainly these Conquistadors of GoldenEnd are going to be a lot stronger if they do get into head-on-head fights.
Yeah, but yet again, I think GoldenEnd needs to preserve that gold no matter what. So if he loses that gold, then this is kind of over for him at this point.
Of course. If you lose the gold, you can't make Conquistadors anymore, and then you would lose. Stable coming up now for Classic Pro. Classic Pro still has the numbers, so he can still try to pressure. GoldenEnd, it looks like he's doing fine right now. As long as he keeps up Conquistador production, should be able to keep things safe. But he's going to move I would be very careful of moving out because then you leave up your gold. Monastery coming up from GoldenEnd. Let's see how this fight goes.
Yeah, this is a good heal advantage for GoldenEnd over here. Also, he has bloodlines, and he's fighting no bloodline conquistadors. So this is a great fight for GoldenEnd over here, I would say.
Yeah, it is a good fight. I think those upgrades just made all the difference in the world because otherwise ClassicPro would have won that. Now Husbandry coming in from ClassicPro, and GoldenEnd should be able to chase down these conquistadors and get a few extra hits off on them. So overall, I think we could say that militia rush was 100% successful.
Yep, that's true. No mastery up for ClassicPro at this point, so this is gonna also give a huge advantage for GoldenEnd over here. He's not making any monks just yet, but he also has 2 relics right next to his base, so he could grab those, and he's just barely missing a third one by a Tao, so he could get some early relics for him as well if he wants to.
Right now, one more Conquistador from GoldenEnd after taking a good fight there. Let's see how this fight's going to go. We have the hill advantage for ClassicPro, but still no bloodlines.
Yeah, missing that bloodlines is going to cost him very badly over here.
And Conquistador's going the wrong way. It's a really risky decision. Might actually pick off a free Conquistador of GoldenEnd.
Yep. I was scared for Villager there, because there is a Villager on the other side of the house wall.
It's still a good fight for GoldenEnd, trapping the army of ClassicPro. ClassicPro is definitely behind in this matchup. Needs to catch up in Conquistador numbers. Luckily, ClassicPro does have a second town center when GoldenEnd doesn't. So ClassicPro needs to get his numbers up, needs to get bloodlines, needs to defend. That's a lot of things to do when you have only so many resources to work with.
Yep, we can agree on that one. Let's see. Still 1 TC for GoldenEnd. Is he gonna play this with 1 TC for quite time? This is gonna be a huge issue for him in the long run. So ClassicPro will have a way stronger eco very soon. But yet again, GoldenEnd pushing very hard, and still no bloodlines on those Conquistadors from ClassicPro. And now GoldenEnd is inside. He could potentially pick off a few villagers if he's lucky.
This is a very awkward position for his Conquistadors, though, because he's in between a castle and 2 town centers. Now he's going to run into the castle, and I think he probably has to... Is he going to stay there, or is he going to get out of there? It looks like he's going to get out of there. And did a little bit of damage, also lost some Conquistadors. But GoldenEnd, with his military count, with his villager advantage, I think he should probably be thinking about maybe adding a second town center sometime soon, just to maintain his advantage.
Yep, that's true. I could imagine him placing a TC on this right side, secondary golden wood. That would be a beautiful spot for him.
GoldenEnd now coming out with a few monks to gather some relics to heal up his Conquistadors. Might be going for some sort of big push sometime soon. I mean, GoldenEnd has to make a decision. Is he going to go forward with a siege workshop, or is he going to add another town center?
I feel like he might be better off adding a siege workshop, because this is kind of a weird TC from ClassicPro. Obviously, it's going to secure the gold for him, but yet again, a beautifully placed siege workshop with mangonels should be able to harass those villagers over there on the gold. So I feel like he could actually get some value for a siege workshop over here.
And Conquistador is getting their way into ClassicPro's base. However, ClassicPro is coming from behind with his Conquistadors. It is 5-on-5, so that means GoldenEnd should win with his Bloodlines upgrade.
Yeah, I just don't know why ClassicPro is not going for Bloodlines. He should be going for
Too expensive, probably.
Yeah, that's true, but he can take the fights this way, so he's gonna lose just all of his Conquistadors. Yeah, especially now that the reinforcements arrive from GoldenEnd. This could be a disaster for him. Because I think GoldenEnd can actually afford to split up his Conquistadors and run into the eco. Lumberjacks could be kind of exposed to some Conquistadors over there.
Yeah, ClassicPro really struggling for the food, doesn't have enough space to put down the farms. Now taking another fight here that he's obviously going to lose. There's no way you could win that.
Yep, and the monks are arriving for GoldenEnd, so we could see some conversions very soon. And he's still playing this with 1 TC. Okay, 2 TCs for GoldenEnd now. So now comes the conversion war. 3 monks for GoldenEnd. This is gonna be extremely important over here.
Yes, 2 conversions right away for GoldenEnd. That's a huge, huge victory for him. Let's see if ClassicPro can get a conversion. Fails on the first conversion. Second monk is converting away. Fails on the
Oh, that's-
second conversion. Big advantage for GoldenEnd. He's got the
This is a
villager
huge
advantage,
advantage.
and he's got the military advantage. And he's looking really good this game.
Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful for him. Classic Pro was kind of lucky that he lost his monks before the conversions hit. And this is going to be a huge amount of Conquistadors, just 18 military for GoldenEnd as compared to 8 of Classic Pro. Classic Pro also missing Bloodlines. This is something that he can actually fight against at this point, so this would be the time for GoldenEnd to add the Siege Workshop, I feel like.
Yeah, I think a Siege Workshop would definitely be on the cards. I don't think it's necessary because Mangonels are pretty poor against Conquistadors. Conquistadors are pretty good at the damage themselves. But I think GoldenEnd should probably just add some town centers after this. Those 2 monks not able to get a conversion. Nice snipe from Classic Pro. I would like to go back to the decision of Classic Pro to add the town center on the gold. I think he added it too early. I think he should have saved up for the Bloodlines upgrade then. Maybe added a few more farms as opposed to going for the town center. I think that really put him far behind.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. Now, what I'm thinking... Okay, now it's... Monk numbers are equalized. Did you see the zigzag from Classic Pro? That was some next level dodging skills.
Yeah, really good micro from these players. Classic Pro
So
sniping down 2 monks. Go ahead.
I feel like GoldenEnd could actually afford to split up his Conquistadors. I've said this before, but now look at this. He has way larger Conquistador numbers. He could just go for the Lumberjacks on the left. That would be a beautiful snipe. He can actually avoid Castle and TC Fire and potentially pick off 1 or 2 Lumberjacks.
I think he's already in such a commanding position. As long as he maintains his army numbers and as long as he is able to pressure Classic Pro, GoldenEnd should keep his economy advantage at home, and that should lead him to have a very good late game.
Yeah, that's true. Also, he's denying quite a lot of farms, as you can see, and the berries as well. So, in general, I think he might even be going for denial of food, at least partially. So, like you said, Classic Pro is struggling with space. So, for that reason, it kind of makes sense for GoldenEnd to just lurk around here on the right side of Classic Pro's base and try to pick off as many villagers or just deny the farm building. Because, well, you need the farms for the Conquistadors as well, so...
You look at the difference in farms between GoldenEnd and Classic Pro, it's pretty stark. GoldenEnd moving in one more time. He's going to take a big fight against the Conquistadors, gets the total surround on them. Classic Pro has nowhere to go, and it's pretty weird that he left his Conquistadors there to die, and there's going to be the GG.
Yeah, this is absolutely GG for Classic Pro. Also lost a villager trying to gate out those Conquistadors. Like you said, a little bit premature TC by Classic Pro over here, and it kind of showed that he didn't really have bloodlines on his Conquistadors. It was really all about the fact that he didn't have bloodlines on those, and he basically lost all fights. Because when you're playing mirrors, if you're playing almost the same way, then you should be having ideally the same amount of Conquistadors. But yet again, if one of your Conquistadors are weaker, then you're just gonna get overwhelmed eventually. So even though you have the same numbers, you will just lose every fight.
Yeah, and really creative strategy from GoldenEnd to go with the Militia Rush, giving him the early economy advantage to get those important upgrades from the stable. And really good play from GoldenEnd. We're going to go to 1-1. And both games, very short games. Maybe in the next few games, we'll have a little bit closer ones. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the third game. We had some quick first 2 games in the series, but it's tied 1-1. On the right side, we have Classic Pro in yellow, playing as the Malians. In left, we have GoldenEnd, played by the... GoldenEnd playing as the Japanese in blue. I'm joined here with Lidacor, and a little bit of an odd map for GoldenEnd. He's got no resources towards the back. Don't you agree?
Sorry? Oh, I wasn't focusing for a second.
Look at the back of GoldenEnd's base. There's no resources there.
Whoa! Yeah, this is kind of unfortunate for him that he's right next to the edge of the map, which will also limit the space he can actually work with. So the problem is that, like, if you compare that to Classic Pro's base, Classic Pro will have a lot of space at the back. This is a beautiful map, in fact, for Classic Pro. Lots of wood at the back, also has some gold and stone, but more importantly, it's somewhat about the space, because you are kind of placing your buildings around your lake. So having just your lake right next to the edge of the map will mean that GoldenEnd might actually be forced into some very tight space over here.
And we have a little bit of a different strategy actually to start the game. So GoldenEnd is actually going for a quick transport and a mill across the pond, whereas ClassicPro is doing a much more standard kind of build, which is getting housed and taking a lot of sheep. So I actually like the strategy for GoldenEnd because you're able to get the fast food source right away. Sure, you have a little bit of idle time at the start, but as long as it doesn't prevent you from building villagers, then you should be okay.
Yeah, I think this is a good approach. So value early fishing, it's gonna help you a lot. Also, he's gonna use his
Yes.
sheep to scout around.
ClassicPro
And
calling a re, and I think that's just because he got housed.
yeah, probably because he was way behind in, well, not way behind, but definitely a bad start for him. So he's gonna use up his restart over here, which is kind of lucky for GoldenEnd, to be honest, because his base wasn't that bad, so, or that good. So eventually, it's gonna have GoldenEnd even more, I believe.
We have some people in my chat being very modest. I said that the preferred strategy for ClassicPro was getting housed, and quite a few people spoke up and said that was their favorite strategy too when they play.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's one of my favorite strategies as well. The only difference I make is that I'm not actually housed very long because I usually lose my units before I could get housed. So this way, I just prevent getting housed all the time. If you use all your units,
I don't get housed very
then
long because every time I get housed, I just call GG. The next game should be starting in a minute 30. We'll have the same civilization, same map.
yep, that's true. So possibly this is gonna be the same start for GoldenEnd. And there, like I said, I really like the approach that he's going for the shore fish very early on. Well, it's not all about the scouting with the sheep, but definitely I think it's a little bit easier to micro, to be honest. So on houseboat, the start is kind of hard because you have to transport all the sheep under your TC. So you really have to focus on a lot of things. And well, Classic Pro get housed because of that partially. So eventually going for the shorefish might be a little bit easier.
I think so. I think it's just better you go for the faster food source. So we'll see if we see the same strategy again with the transport over. We probably will, but certainly the map should be a lot different. That was a very rare version of Houseboat.
So here we go. This is going to be the third match between Golden and Classic Pro in the Aspiring Experts Golden League semifinals. Map is going to be Houseboat, and we're going to see GoldenEnd playing as Japanese in blue. On the left side, right side is going to be Classic Pro with Malians in yellow.
Certainly this map has a lot more of the resources surrounding the island. You can go for the back area if you would like.
Wait a second.
Oh, shoot. I spoke too soon. GoldenEnd's map looks exactly the same.
Yeah. I was like, wait a second. Isn't this the exact same map? It's not. It's not the exact same because Classic Pro's base looks different. But this literally looks the same as what GoldenEnd had previously.
Yeah, GoldenEnd's map looks exactly the same. The gold, the stone, and then I'm gonna place the mill in between the shorefish. You have the wood lines look pretty similar on the left. So this is 1 in a million.
Yeah, this is not a great meal from him, though.
No, it's a terrible
so.
mill.
I think previously he had a meal. He had 2 shorefishes right next to his meal.
Yeah.
This is not a great meal. I mean, well, he doesn't really have that close shorefishes to each other. So now that I look around, his shorefishes are kind of distant from each other, and this is gonna make placing meals harder.
Just for that mill. I think I would call a re. I mean, maybe I'm just too. I like to call too many re's, but
yeah, could be a reason for a restart. But I feel like he's confident with this strategy. I don't think that he's gonna call the restart for this one.
He's confident in his milk placement because he believes in himself.
Yeah, can't deny that one, but I'm curious to see what he's gonna do with all that sheep because, well, Classic Pro might even be able to steal some.
Yeah, it looks like he's just scouting with it. He says, "I don't need sheep. Sheep is a slow food source, so I'm gonna scout with him and Looks like Classic Pro actually might find a few of these sheep if he goes towards his opponent's base. We'll see if he does.
That could be a huge eco advantage for Classic Pro, I would say. So, let's see. And now, who do you think would go for the first dock stick? Or is there any player that could go for it? So sometimes both players actually try to sneak a dock up on the opponent. Sometimes it's just one of the players, or they could play this
I'm actually not a fan
way.
of the sneak dock strategy on this particular map because I think the town center gives you too much of a defensive bonus. So that's just my personal opinion. Whether the players decide to go for it or not, I don't know. But the Japanese certainly wouldn't have an advantage with defending because of their fishing ship bonus.
That's true. So if you're Classic Pro, I don't think it's actually worth trying. So the thing is that it's a huge gamble. Because if you can't actually take down the fishing eco of your opponent, then you're just going to invest a lot of resources in those fire ships, and it's not going to pay off. Although we've seen... Oh, look at that. Classic Pro might even be able to steal some sheep.
It's all the sheep you want! But GoldenEnd's going to try to steal them back. Oh, this is going to be a big mess for Classic Pro if he wants to keep these sheep.
He will try to save at least 3.
Luckily, he's going to win the scout battle, so that could have been a disaster.
Yep, that's true. So sometimes what you see, this is what I was thinking about, is that players actually just go sneak a dock up on the opponent, like let's say make 2 fire galleys and then bail out of this completely. And sometimes just the defensive player is actually overextending on water because he feels like he needs to protect his fishing eco and pops out like 8 or 9 fire galleys. It eventually just invests a bunch of resources in those fire galleys that he won't be able to use anymore later on. So that could be an approach for either player to just sneak a dock up and try to force your opponent to actually invest a lot. So just basically bait him into spending a lot on those fire guys could be one thing that could work. Also, Classic Pro is placing a mill. Do you like this mill placement from Classic Pro? I am not a huge fan of it. I mean, it shouldn't be placed like 1 tile to the left, right?
No, I think it's a fine placement because he wants the short fish on the right too. I was more thinking that it's too forward, too close to his opponent, but no, I think it's a great mill placement. He's going to be able to get 3 short fish from it. It was the only place he could place it and get 3 short fish.
Yeah, I was actually coming from the direction that it's not going to be the most efficient for these 2 short fishes for him, but indeed, if he wants all 3, then this is kind of a decent mill for that. Now, GoldenEnd with some very early palisades, walling himself around. He's completely open from the right side so far, but he's going to wall himself off nicely on the left. Meanwhile, Classic Pro, not much walling at all. So he's completely open from all directions, as I can see.
I think don't wall if you don't have to. So you have a scout around, then use that to be your guide whether or not you should wall. Certainly Classic Pro had an easier time walling, so I don't blame him for walling. But for Classic Pro's map, it might take him a little bit more effort, so I would just wait until I would think I need them.
Yeah, that's more reasonable way to approach it. Meanwhile, GoldenEnd's gonna do some very aggressive walling, to be honest. I mean, I'm not exactly sure if I like this walling or not for him. I mean, he's still open from the right side. Is he gonna wall it all the way
probably
to the end of the map?
I imagine so.
Wow, that's something I'm not exactly sure if he can protect, to be honest. So, feel like a little bit of an overextension for him, as he's gonna be ahead in field age time quite well. So, the short fishes might pay off for him, but yet again, Classic Pro with 2 more villagers, so he's gonna pick up at a later villager time.
Actually, come to think of it, look at GoldenEnd. I didn't think he would wall like that. That's an ambitious wall. You're right. So we'll see how he finishes off. Maybe he's going to use the villager. We have 4 villagers coming forward. Maybe for a dock, maybe for an archer range or a barracks. Let's see.
I'm not exactly sure what he's doing. He just deleted the wall, then changed his mind and goes the other direction.
Yeah.
And then used the other villager to just replace that wall. What is this?
Oh, it's a very confused strategy.
Yeah, this was extremely inefficient. Barracks coming up for GoldenEnd, same as Classic Pro. I feel like GoldenEnd could go for archers of his own.
I was gonna say scouts because he's got so much food.
Well, that could also be one thing. Yeah, he's...
ClassicPro might go for a fast castle, actually. He's got the resources. Oh, but GoldenEnd's
that's
placing a dock in the middle island. In the
Yeah,
right
but
island.
that's everything but a sneak. I mean, look at that. ClassicPro just sees the blob of villagers arriving, so at this point... Oh, it's another villager! Where did it come from? What is this?
Yeah, I didn't see it at all. It completely went past my vision. So
And
we have some
GoldenEnd going for
militias.
spears.
We actually have an infantry war in the south and 5 villagers. Looks like advantage for GoldenEnd. His infantry will be attacking faster, of course. GoldenEnd also going on aggressive with a fire galley. We have a fire galley in defense from ClassicPro being made. If you're able to condense the water, you can actually go for the transport ship, and that could be a big loss. So a lot of things happening at the same time.
Yeah, that's true, but this kind of looks like a doubt tower to me at this point, so... GoldenEnd might not actually finish it, but even if he finishes this, then all the villagers and militias will just surround it and take it down, right? Exactly like what we see.
Supposedly, but GoldenEnd's going to continue to bring some infantry out there. Can probably get a few good shots on the villagers there. And going to have some quick walls, and that should really help to defend that tower.
Yep, that's true. Still, I'm not certain that this tower will ever grow up, although that repair villager is some next level thing. I mean, look at that. Ward around villager repairing the tower forever. That's one way to approach this. Still, spears for GoldenEnd for some reason. Why spears? I mean, he has the gold if he wants to pop out some man-at-arms, let's say. Or
I just think he wants the units now. Spearmen are just as good as, or almost just as good as militia. They have 5 more HP and 1 less attack. But I just don't think he wants to take the time to upgrade the men-at-arms upgrade. And it looks like he will lose the tower. Yes. Let's see if the spearmen can do anything.
Yeah, but yet again, he managed to snipe down ClassicPro's transport ship.
Oh, shoot, really?
Yep, it was... Oh, he was eventually able to find that one. Still, he lost his fire galley in this engagement. It looks like he's not even making more fire galleys, so... Maybe he was just trying for the snipe on the transport. I'm not exactly sure if it's worth it.
That's a big deal. GoldenEnd should definitely continue the fire galley production, because if he's just able to match ClassicPro, then that means that ClassicPro won't be able to rebuild the transport ship, and all of these villagers coming out of the town center are idle. I wonder if ClassicPro actually should delete his town center, or if he's going to build a transport.
Yeah, that is one possibility. Meanwhile, though, GoldenEnd is going to lose all his 4 villagers over here, so this is not a great situation for him.
That's so bad for GoldenEnd. And now there's a huge army coming his way. GoldenEnd has nothing to defend from it. He just went up with an archery range. Now we'll probably place a tower in that area if he's smart. And there's that tower. We'll have to go for some... I don't know. We'll have to go for some archers. These men-at-arms, they're Malian men-at-arms. They're going to be very deadly. Very deadly to archers as well, especially without fletching.
Yeah, and GoldenEnd doesn't even have a blacksmith, right? Yeah, no blacksmith for him, so he doesn't have fletching. Those are just already 2 pierce armor men-at-arms. If he goes for scale mail armor, then those could be even stronger if he wants to. Also, still I'm thinking that, well, GoldenEnd was definitely trying to go for the transport ship. Because, well, look at this, he's not making any more fire galleys. ClassicPro with 2 docks now. Eventually ClassicPro is gonna make his transport ship again. But still, it looks like GoldenEnd was just trying to snipe down that transport.
Well, it's good that he got it, but it's certainly not worth losing all the villagers that GoldenEnd has lost when he went up with that tower. Now, ClassicPro going to get through that first layer of walls. GoldenEnd is going to have to re-wall behind these palisade walls because they'll go down in an instant, and he's got to find something to deal with these archers in order to keep himself in the game.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky because, well, he doesn't have a blacksmith at this point still, so he doesn't have fletching. He could use some skirms to kill the archers, but yet again, skirms will just do nothing against those Malian men-at-arms. Even his archers will struggle against those, so he's gonna stonewall himself. He knows what's coming.
Yeah, but he left it. He left the house there, and the walls are only as strong as the weakest part of the wall, so that is essentially a house wall. You'll have to wall behind. Men-at-arms are through the first layer, and it looks like they're going. Nope, they're coming through. So they'll start to hit that house sometime soon.
Yep, that's true. He might even try to snap down some of those fishing ships, although it won't really make a difference because... well,
Demo! Oh my gosh!
Oh,
Delete!
delete, delete.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
That's what we need! Just one good demo ship turning the entire battle. I mean, look at this. Look at what Classic Pro remains with. A 2 HP Man-at-Arms, a 1 HP Archer, and just 2 Man-at-Arms in remaining. Yeah, basically 2 very low HP Man-at-Arms, 1 very low Archer, and still has a decent amount of Archers, but that was a glorious demo ship there. That was a glorious one. I'm going with the second dock is GoldenEnd. What is he trying to do here?
He's
Also,
go ahead.
quite worth noting that the wood line of GoldenEnd is getting harassed by the archers of Classic Pro. Standing below the tower, that is a beautiful way to go. Also, Classic Pro has fletching on him. Meanwhile, GoldenEnd doesn't, so he's gonna have stronger archers that will just deny his wood line perfectly. So, GoldenEnd is definitely cornered over here.
Yeah, GoldenEnd on the back foot, even despite getting that huge demo hit. GoldenEnd hopefully will be able to defend on water, keep himself in the game. He is up to the next age sooner. He had those Japanese fishing ships, which has been supporting them this whole time. Of course, GoldenEnd hasn't had to invest, so much into military. So, maybe that explains it. But hopefully be able to do something with this new Castle Age. Is this going to be the comeback?
Yeah, could be, but you have a transport ship coming from Classic Pro. He's gonna try and transport these archers inside the eco of
He's going to
GoldenEnd.
transport to the town center? No.
Oh, fire guy is coming from GoldenEnd. This is gonna be very close.
Here's the fire ship. Here's the fire ship from GoldenEnd, and I think that transport ship should get away, but the transport ship will definitely go down. Tower coming up from GoldenEnd. It might be a little too late. Here's those 5 archers.
Yeah, it's gonna be 5
Oh,
archers.
quick gate!
He needs to snipe the villager though. Oh, he's gonna go for lumberjacks.
Oh, but quick walls from GoldenEnd. Nice quick walls, and that's going to keep him in this game.
Yeah, this is definitely one thing that's gonna save him in the long run. But yet again, still he has the stone miners and gold miners on the right side. Those archers should do so much damage, and especially if he gets up to Botkin Arrow and Crossbow in Castle. Although I'm not exactly sure if those archers will live that long. That's again some beautiful walling over there by GoldenEnd, but yet again he might lose that villager. Nope.
Well, he's got 2 skirmishers in that area. I think 2 skirmishers might be able to take on 4 archers. It's going to be a close one. But
yeah, these
nice
are
defense from
skirmers.
GoldenEnd. He had that creative demo, and he had those creative walls, and those things have really brought him back in this game.
Yeah, that's true. And looks like GoldenEnd is pushing forward, and now Botkin around those archers will mean that even those Malian infantry will struggle against them. Crossbow coming up for him. Think he needs to wait a little bit until Crossbow hits, but when he has Crossbow, he should be able to try and raid the base of Classic Pro. Classic Pro still walling around, so he's gonna try and preserve his eco for some time as well over here.
Well, GoldenEnd's moving towards the right side. I'm sure he hasn't scouted this area, at least in a while.
Oh no, there is a hole! There is a hole on GoldenEnd's wall and the archers are inside. If he found that earlier, then this would have been a disaster. Only 2 archers, the villagers should be able to clean them up, but if the 4 archers found that...
Oh, I thought it was like an epic disaster.
Well, the thing is that if the 4 archers found that actually landed for Classic Pro, this would have been way worse. I was just so surprised that there is a hole between the archery range and the house.
Yeah, it looks pretty solid. So archers from Classic Pro moving around the south side. There is a siege workshop there for GoldenEnd, so hopefully he'll be able to defend. GoldenEnd didn't find anything on the right side. Now he's going to move over to the left. On the left, he's got a tower and a town center there, but maybe he could snipe something from that wood line.
Yep. Classic Pro already has armor on his archers as well, so he has better crossbows than one GoldenEnd has.
Oh, man.
Boy,
Oh, killing
this is
so
gonna
many
be a
villagers.
disaster. This is gonna be a disaster. This can be a GG moment over here.
Yeah, 3 villagers down, 4 villagers down. Big
This is gonna
mangonel
be-
hit though.
Big mango hit, but hit again. Oh, the friendly
his
fire
bill.
from the mango. This
That's
is all worth it.
that was. I have to say, I don't think that was too bad for GoldenEnd. At least he killed all the crossbows, but he did lose 6 villagers, 7 villagers.
Yeah, that was a 4 HP villager. I was looking at that because I was like, okay, Classic Pro targets that one and that villager. Still, that wasn't. At least he killed the army. of Classic Pro there. Still, that's a lot of lost villagers over here. And now Classic Pro has a 6 villager yet again. GoldenEnd is also inside the eco of Classic Pro where they're picking off. He picked off 2 gold miners, it seems.
And it looks like the archers of GoldenEnd going to get trapped by Classic Pro, and they're going to go right into the town center.
Yep. Classic Pro already on 3 TCs, obviously. Just 2 of them are on the outside, so the third one is kind of hard to micro, villager production-wise at least. Meanwhile, still just 1 TC for GoldenEnd. This is gonna hurt him quite badly, to be honest.
Yeah, so now things have settled. It looks like GoldenEnd has more investment into military. He has 3 mangonels, probably going to go for some sort of big push to get himself back in the game. And Classic Pro is just booming it up. Classic Pro will have to be defensive and hopefully be able to maintain his villager advantage, which will give him an advantage late game. So it's all about these mangonels, keeping these mangonels alive and seeing what damage you can do with them.
Yep, that's true, absolutely. He's trying to snipe down the fire guys over there from Classic Pro, and he's definitely going very hard, but he needs to do serious damage now if he wants to take this, because if he doesn't, then Classic Pro's eco is just going to skyrocket and he won't be able to catch up with his eco.
And 1 mangonel down from GoldenEnd. We have 2 more on their way.
Yeah. Ballistics coming from Classic Pro. Those are going to be some very strong crossbows with ballistics, or they have +1 armor as well. So Classic Pro's archers or crossbows can definitely be the ones from GoldenEnd at this point. But he needs to watch out not to lose those to the mangonels. So it's really gonna be up to his micro how well he can handle this situation. Also, larger fishing eco for Classic Pro, so he's really investing in his fishing eco at this point. So to sum it up, he has a huge eco lead now. 8 villagers ahead and also 3 fishing ships for quite a time, so that's definitely a huge advantage for him.
Let's see whose army's going to get trapped. GoldenEnd is hiding in the right side, and we have these mangonels. The mangonels are actually going back at the wrong time, so 3 crossbows down. Those crossbows with ballistics are deadly. We have 2 men-at-arms going for the mangonels. This actually might be the end of the game, as these mangonels go down, and Classic Pro takes a huge eco lead.
Oh, that's a beautiful blow, though.
Was good.
That was so beautiful.
Was good, but I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, I absolutely agree on that one. The problem is that GoldenEnd's army is basically completely one-dimensional, just sending crossbows from 1 arch range, and eventually Classic Pro is gonna have so good infantry. Still, he's doing serious damage to those mangonels, but it's not gonna be enough. So Classic Pro can just send forward those tanky men-at-arms over there with the pierce armor. So also, GoldenEnd definitely struggling with space problems, as you can see. He's building his farms to the front over here. This is the disadvantage of being right next to the edge of the map. This is what we were talking about previously.
It's also the disadvantage of having the walls like they are on the left side for GoldenEnd. But Classic Pro now with ballistics crossbows, doing tons of damage, denying a lot of farms of GoldenEnd. GoldenEnd, by the way, is only on 2 town centers. His opponent is on 3 and has 12 villager advantage. So I think Classic Pro should be in a good position to end this game. I do think that if this game went very late game and both players were even, I think Japanese might have an advantage, but we probably won't get to that point. So, and that forward siege workshop from Classic Pro too, so I think he's going to go a little bit more aggressive.
Yep, definitely. Classic Pro is in a way better situation, especially now that he snipes down another mangonel with his crossbows. GoldenEnd isn't even paying attention over there, so
oh,
this is gonna be.
Oh, you see the upgrades? Did you see the upgrades?
Well, interesting. Let's say, interesting.
It was Horse Collar and Bidaxe coming in for GoldenEnd.
Well, Horse Collar. That's a little bit surprising, considering how much control he has.
You want Bidaxe right away.
And yeah, there's just no way. No way for GoldenEnd over here. He's definitely desperate to expand his eco. Now on 3 TCs as well, but yet again, he's behind by 15 villagers now. So Classic Pro will just have a way better map control, and here come the crossbows. Also, Classic Pro with his own mangonels now, so he should be able to snap down the ones from GoldenEnd. That's a beautiful shot from GoldenEnd, though.
GoldenEnd, luckily defending for now. He's got more mangonels. He's been good at keeping the mangonel production up, and Classic Pro has not. I imagine Classic Pro with his eco should be going up to the next stage. Look at how many farms he's seeding in the north. He should have a monster food economy coming up in the next few minutes.
Yeah, he's probably preparing for a transition to some sort of a cavalry, which kind of makes sense if you go for Imperial Age Malians. So I think the only thing that kept GoldenEnd alive at this point is that he was able to do some serious damage to the crossbows of Classic Pro with his mangonels. So he did some beautiful hits, and eventually this is the only thing that kept Classic Pro from killing him completely.
Let's see how this mangonel dance goes. A little bit of dodging. Looks like... Okay, nice. Nice mangonel micro from GoldenEnd. I thought his mangonel micro hasn't been too bad this game.
Yeah, his mangonel micro was insane. He killed a lot of crossbows there from Classic Pro. Still, Classic Pro knocking down one mango, and eventually that was a hero mangonel for Classic Pro, taking down 2 from GoldenEnd. Another siege workshop from Classic Pro. Is he gonna actually increase his mangonel production?
But he hasn't been as efficient with them, so might as well double the production. I think that Classic Pro definitely has at least a third more economy than GoldenEnd, though, so that is something that needs to be taken into consideration.
Yeah. Thing is that Classic Pro, with his monster food eco, he's just spamming villagers all the time, so he's gonna have 120 villagers in a few minutes. Already 23 villagers ahead, so Classic Pro will have a way better eco in the long run. Also, GoldenEnd deleted his original TC, so he's down to 2 TCs again, right?
I think Classic Pro should probably delete his original too, because he's got a lot of idols there.
Well, he shouldn't delete it at this point because he's just researching Imperial on it.
Yeah, of course, after that. Yeah, that's a good call.
Forward Castle from Classic Pro, which is gonna be a huge issue for GoldenEnd if it goes up. So this can definitely be a game changer here for Classic Pro. Would secure most of the map for him, I think. So there is nothing that GoldenEnd can do against this castle at this stage of the game.
So positives for GoldenEnd. So at the very least, Classic Pro probably will have to make a transition to another unit because he's
what he will do, already popping out stables to the right side. Most likely, well, he also makes scale mail armor for infantry. What is he doing? He's making tough stables, but yet again, infantry armor.
Yeah, either Cavalier or a champion should work in the situation. I think when you're this far ahead, either would
He's
be
going
a legitimate
Beddoes.
option.
He's going Beddoes.
What?
Beddoes.
I think only as a support unit though, not like the main army.
Yeah, that's a possibility, but... Oh, well, he's popping out quite a number of Beddoes, but he's not doing anything with the stables. I feel like... Oh no! No! Simple deleted his Imperial HTC, and
What?
I was like... Yeah, he's researching it on the right side TC now, and the TC from the Central Island is gone.
Why?
I'm not exactly sure if he actually cancelled that before, but I was like, okay, wasn't he actually ahead in Imperial Age time a little bit more? And I'm like, okay, this TC is gone. Oh, that was... I'm not exactly sure if this was a mistake.
I think he was listening to the stream, and since there's the 1.5-minute delay, he heard my suggestion that he should delete his town center, and he just went with it.
That's a possibility. So... Well... And Gbero's going down on the mangonels. I'm not exactly sure if this is a good idea, although... Well, Pierce Armor is kind of trash on those Gberos, so running into the blob of crossbow and Gberos is not a good idea. Still, he managed to snap down those mangonels quite well.
Those,
so looks
those
like...
crossbows still don't have ballistics or thumb rings, so they're not as effective as they normally would be.
Yep. And looks like chain barring armor is coming up for GoldenEnd, so he's gonna transition to some possibly knights. But yet again, I think that is not a good way to go because Classic Pro will just go for camels of his own. Light cap for GoldenEnd. this is definitely desperation time. Crossbows massacring the villagers there on the woodline from GoldenEnd. This should be a GG moment, I think.
I think so. I think the Imperial Age might be a wake-up moment for GoldenEnd. Let's see.
Yeah, definitely.
Huh?
He's using way too many villagers. Look at the crossbows. Yep.
Not quite yet.
All the villagers dying. So, yeah, even if GoldenEnd doesn't call it, he doesn't really have the chance to come back to this. Now, look at the dead villagers there from the crossbows. Cavalier coming up. Huge amounts of cavaliers will just swarm the base of GoldenEnd, and GoldenEnd can't really do anything against this one at this point. I mean, all he has is just a few light cavs.
Well, GoldenEnd, if he wants to prolong this game, he's going to have to transition to pikemen. So, I don't see him doing that anytime soon with no barracks. But that would have to be
the other
option.
problem is that he's completely running out of space and resources. So just look at his base. He's definitely desperate for space and resources, and he has neither. Farimba coming up for Classic Pro, that can be a game decider. So if you get to Farimba Cavaliers, then there's nothing that GoldenEnd can do. So problem is that even if he starts transitioning to pikes, it's gonna be way too late. So the Cavaliers will just run inside and destroy everything before he could even pop out like 5 pikes.
You know, one thing, I think GoldenEnd should have expanded his base to the left. It's more typical to expand it to the left than towards your opponent. Towards your opponent is usually something that you never want to do, and was certainly not a good option this game, as he got raided so many times on that right side. But GG, ClassicPro is going to take this game a bit of a longer game than, probably longer than the first 2 games combined. And we'll have a 2-1.
Yeah, they also heard that from the stream, so they were like, okay, we need a longer game.
Yeah.
The players.
So on the top we have ClassicPro playing as the Slavs. In the bottom we have GoldenEnd playing as the Vikings. Once again, we have another Vikings on this map, and they certainly were very good in the last round, where we did see some good use out of their longboats, a demo ship, as well a very strong economy and very defensive play style. What do you think about the Slavs on this map?
I have one word to say: longboats. Longboats. So yeah, it's just the longboats. So Slavs, I like the idea. So Slavs are a great civilization overall. You have a great food eco with that, but I'm a little concerned about that against Vikings, to be honest. My main issue is that what do you go for as your primary unit as Slavs? You could go for, like, let's say, knight or, well, heavy cavalry build, but it's not gonna work against Vikings. So we've seen that against Project Belgium. So the eco is gonna be great, I think, for Classic Pro, but if he can't capitalize on his superior eco early on, or his superior food eco, then he's gonna have trouble. Also, Vikings do have a great eco as well, so I feel like Vikings might be a little bit better pick for this matchup, but it's really up to the execution, I believe.
Yeah, I could see why the Vikings would be so strong on here. I think mostly this game will come down to, of course, the skill of the players, how things go. I think this matchup is not one that greatly favors the Vikings, but I think a small edge might be given to them. A late game, I could imagine like champions with Druzhina going toe-to-toe with Berserks, or Viking champions, because Druzhina is such a big upgrade. And the Siege certainly will be a big asset for GoldenEnd. Sorry, for Classic Pro. And I think we have a boar steal. Is this a boar steal from Classic Pro?
No.
Yes.
First is just a turkey steal, but he's calling his restart, so I think he was going for the boar steal. So while you were actually discussing this, I was just looking at his scout, and I was like, okay, this is some very aggressive scouting. He eventually managed to steal a turkey, but considering that he caught his restart, it is kind of obvious that he wanted to steal a boar. Oh, wait, was it Classic Pro who stole the boar?
No, Classic Pro stealing his own boar.
Okay, he's just luring his own boar in with the scout.
I think he's just joking, because he knew he was going to anyway.
But, well, definitely GoldenEnd was looking for the boar over there. Unable to find it, he's gonna call the restart. Also, GoldenEnd didn't really have a great base now that I look at it. Front stone for him. His primary goal is also kind of exposed, so yeah, this wasn't a great map for him either, but I think it must have been the fact that he tried to steal the boar from his opponent. So, we'll just have to wait
Yeah.
a few more moments. So yeah, I would definitely love to see a matchup of Berserks versus Družina champions. That would be some insane
That's my
thing to
favorite,
watch. Now, I am curious to see if GoldenEnd will try to steal a boar again. So,
I guess why not?
well, you could try. Well, every game you could try stealing a boar if you want to, or he could even try to deny the boar from the villager. That would be one possibility as well. But I feel like if he tried it now, then he should be going for that in the next match because, well, I think ClassicPro needs to prepare for it. So, stealing a boar is the most effective when your opponent isn't actually counting on it.
That is also true.
All right, we're gonna see the fourth match between ClassicPro and GoldenEnd, and if I'm right, both players have already used their restarts now. So no restarts possible for either player now. As we're gonna have ClassicPro in the north playing as Slavs in yellow, and on the left side we're gonna have GoldenEnd playing as Vikings in blue. Now they're kind of close to each other, so this is a little bit different from the previous map. Like I said, quite close to each other.
Yeah, one thing I like about Saltmarsh is there is a little bit of variety in the map. I'm actually a huge fan of this map since I've been watching it for this tournament. But yeah, there's a lot of different variations of Saltmarsh. All of them perfectly, perfectly reasonable as far as the maps go compared at least to the old Saltmarsh anyway. But so you're not too familiar with the old Saltmarsh, are you? Since you're newer to the community.
Nope, I'm not familiar with the
old
Saltmarsh
in Age of Kings, Age of Conquerors was never seen because basically it was a whole different map with sometimes there would be fish which would favor one player over another, so we never saw it. So this is one of the first tournaments that has actually featured the new and improved Saltmarsh, which came since the Forgotten Kingdoms.
Yeah, now what I'm actually looking at is the gold deposit of GoldenEnd over here. Not a great gold for him, it's kind of blocked by one side from the wood. That's not good for him. I think overall though, I think GoldenEnd is a decent base, I would say. The only issue is the primary stone completely exposed right next to the water. This is a horrible spot for it, but other than that, he mostly has safe resources, even though this primary gold is kind of unfavorable for him. On the other side, that's some beautiful back gold there from ClassicPro, I have to say. So you can't really have a safer goal than that one.
What do you think for ClassicPro? Like a wall, scouts, and then like a faster castle build. I think would be a pretty solid build with the way he can wall his map.
I would like to see that. Because, well, with Vikings, well, all I can say is longboats. So, but in this situation, longboats could be kind of reasonable for him if I think it over. So mostly the lake is kind of huge, so not a large amount of land on the two sides of the lake. Like in the previous match, there was on the right side a lot of land where units could pass, but in this scenario, the land is kind of thin on both sides of the lake. So longboats could be kind of efficient, but the thing I really like to see is that the primary stone from GoldenEnd is right next to the water, so that could be so easily denied with a few ships.
Yeah, I don't think the Vikings probably want that stone too much.
Well, early on, that's absolutely true, but it would definitely be something.
ClassicPro, interestingly, with a lot of walls very early. These are very early walls. If he's gonna place the barracks, it's gonna be on the right side, I guess. But these walls, they're interesting.
Yeah, that's true. He's most likely gonna wall his left side as well. That's not gonna be a huge issue for him. So might go for fast castle over here. Could imagine him going for that, to be honest. Go for fast castle knights.
I didn't want to say it, but if we don't see a barracks coming up sometime soon, and he doesn't have the wood for like a Dark Age rush, that could be the build.
Yeah, I can agree on that one. So,
oh my gosh!
On this side,
look, ClassicPro scouting.
ClassicPro scouting. Oh, that's kind of unfortunate for him. Oh boy. He just barely missed those houses. So if he was there like way earlier, then he could have found those.
To be fair, GoldenEnd scouting's not much better.
So even if he's looking for his opponent, he won't find him anytime soon because, well, I think he's just gonna move the other direction because he couldn't find GoldenEnd on the left. But he was just barely missing him by a few tiles.
And GoldenEnd's actually having a really hard time clicking up to the next stage if he wants to. It looks like so he's going up 22 pop, maybe men-at-arms, maybe straight archers. ClassicPro, unfortunately, is just going to go for probably a scout rush. So nothing fancy, nothing fancy at all. Although it is a little bit early, just a scout rush with a lot of walls.
Yeah, GoldenEnd was actually able to find that barracks while being built. So looks like GoldenEnd going with men-at-arms. Feels like
Yeah.
What is this walls though from GoldenEnd? I mean, I'm not a huge fan of these walls by any means. Yeah, it's gonna secure the berries for him, but is this really the way to wall your base?
Those berries can be valuable, man. That's a lot of berries.
That's true, but oh boy, can he protect these walls?
He's going forward.
What is it? Yeah, he's going forward. What is he gonna? Is he gonna try to tower something? Now let's see. GoldenEnd scouting is horrible. I mean, look at the scouting of GoldenEnd. What is it? If he's trying to go for towers, could he go for towers?
Yeah, so that stable is in an extremely vulnerable position. It could get battered down by men-at-arms and villagers, especially if a tower's on it. So this would be a huge deal for ClassicPro. I think, yeah, as long as ClassicPro builds this tower in time, he should be able to wall this up and defend. Let's see.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. So GoldenEnd doesn't really have any scouting on the base of ClassicPro, so he doesn't really have any idea where to place those towers.
Kind of interesting he decided to go for the strategy, but I don't think it's going to be successful. They should get walled out. In fact, one of these militia going to get very low.
That was some interesting house placement there by GoldenEnd as well. I was like, militias were trying to escape the arrow fire, but GoldenEnd just quick walled them, and they had to walk all the way around. This is looking like a disaster for GoldenEnd at this point. He's gonna have to bail out of this one very soon.
Well, he's going to try again on the left side, but there's still... If he could break through, then maybe he could deny that wood line, but that is... I don't like this decision from GoldenEnd. This was, as you said, this was a, I think, poor strategy choice. With so little scouting information.
Yeah, problem is that even if he towers the wood line over here for ClassicPro, he's just gonna be able to fall back to the back of his base. There's a lot of wood there. Also, he needs to pierce through this palisade wall over here before he could do that. And eventually, even if he gets through there, ClassicPro will be aware of that, and he's gonna be able to escape with his villagers. So, yeah, he's gonna invest a lot of villagers to this one. So, 5 villagers pushing forward. Looks like ClassicPro will try to second layer this one.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to do that with the house. There's no tower there to prevent the quick walls. ClassicPro is looking for something to kill with the scouts. Not going to find it because GoldenEnd has walled his base too. And GoldenEnd going to stone right now. So,
yeah, he's committed to this tower push, but I don't think it's gonna work.
Do you think maybe an early
work.
Berserk play might be something on the cards for Castle Age?
Maybe, just maybe. I still feel like this is not a good investment for him. So, I always say that when you're going for towers, you really have to do damage with that. So, either deny a resource, either kill villagers, whatever works, but going towers early on is a huge investment. You invest your villagers to go for stone. You have kind of like an idle time in these villagers who are just building towers at the front lines, so your eco will get definitely behind them. Just look at this. GoldenEnd is investing 5 years to building these towers. Meanwhile, ClassicPro's eco is completely unharassed, and he's gonna have a huge lead from that one.
Well, on the other hand, GoldenEnd is going to mine that gold in the front of ClassicPro's base. GoldenEnd? Who knows? Maybe he's going to go for Castle and Berserks. I wouldn't agree with that decision, but it's certainly the best way maybe he could optimize this build right now. ClassicPro will be up to the next stage sooner, and with the Slavs farms, and that might be a big deal.
Yeah, Golden will have to go for a few pikes very soon because, judging by the stable of Classic Pro, most likely Classic Pro will just drop another stable and go for knights once he reaches castle. So GoldenEnd will need some pikes very soon.
Nice snipe.
Also losing one villager is GoldenEnd.
Nice snipe killing that one villager.
That was a beautiful snap. I think he could even kill most of the forward here from GoldenEnd. Beautiful quick walling over there. Just one spear. That is extremely important. Just one spear there. Although that is a Viking spear, so it's gonna have a huge amount of health. And the longer this game gets, those Viking pikemen will just get better and better.
I'm just really scared of the Slavs farms right now because they're about to go up to the next stage real quick.
Yeah,
and this is going to be some heavy pressure that GoldenEnd is going to have to defend from.
Yeah, that's true. So most likely, defensive towers also for Classic Pro. So eventually, GoldenEnd will most likely lose his tower sooner or later here, right next to Classic Pro's base. And when Classic Pro is up, he's gonna pop down quite a number of knights, which could try to do some damage. But I'm not exactly sure where they could strike at GoldenEnd. Possibly try to get through some of these palisade walls. That would be an option for them.
Nova asking in my chat about chieftain's infantry versus like a cavalry civilization. I think it's just going to take way too long to get a castle up and then get the chieftain's upgrade. And I think by that time, the other player should have boomed, should have a good mass of knights to take good engagements. And if the Vikings start to look, the berserks look scary, then you should be boomed enough to make some sort of transition to archers.
Yep, Classic Pro with scale barding. This is gonna be a knight's build very soon. And just look at this, GoldenEnd trying to find some value for those militias, but they won't actually influence the gameplay anymore at this point, I believe.
No.
Going with the second stable is Classic Pro. Knights will pop out very soon, and he's already pressuring the base of GoldenEnd with his scouts. Looks like GoldenEnd will just second layer this one for now, but I'm not exactly sure how long he's gonna be able to hold. GoldenEnd with a push on the right, though. So this is gonna be very close for Classic Pro. I'm not exactly sure if he's gonna be able to put a second layer on it in time.
Yeah,
okay, he should be. Yeah, he should be fine.
Should be.
Unless... oh no.
Should be.
Hello.
Should not be.
Hello. Classic Pro. Please.
He's taunting his opponent. He's gonna do it the last second. Look. See,
this
last
is...
second. 100% sure.
Yeah.
That was almost a disaster.
Yeah, this was all... Yeah. The only thing I can imagine was taunting. I mean, there is no way that this was not intentional. Eventually, he might even lose that gate. That gate's gonna have some trouble keeping it up, I think. GoldenEnd will be behind in castle each time, and now the knights are arriving, so the knights should be able to clean up that army from GoldenEnd there, right?
Yeah, they should. Unfortunately, they'll be a little bit distracted by that army, or they should, if they want to clean it up. Looks like they're going to go aggressive first, and they won't be able to get through the walls unless GoldenEnd doesn't repair behind them. But GoldenEnd going to go into pikemen, and has an archer range as well if he wants to add some archers. He definitely needs the pikemen. And if you
I'm not exactly sure if you saw that, but eventually that palisade gate was a huge disaster for Classic Pro. Gate opened, militias chased down. I mean,
the guy.
He was taunting so hard that he just lost that.
He deserved to die.
Yeah, that was so savage. Yeah, lots of spears coming up from GoldenEnd, kind of what I expected to be double barracks. Look at the amount of spearmen inside the barracks of GoldenEnd.
Well, I think this means one thing, and if you're going to make pikemen, and you're going to defend with pikemen, and you want to transition that to go aggressive, then you have to make a big, big investment.
But yeah, these are going to be some very strong pikemen.
But I fully expect GoldenEnd to add a siege workshop after this, and
yeah,
fully
he needs something so pikemen alone won't do it. But this is going to be some huge amount. Yeah, he's going to wait until pikemen hits. Those are going to be some plus one pikemen. Eventually he's going to lose his towers, but if he can grab a siege workshop, just look at the amount of pikes over here. Very weird approach, but this could work.
Well, I hope he gets a good engagement. He didn't get the squires upgrade, so they won't be able to catch the cavalry.
Yep,
there it is now.
Look at that. So many pikes from GoldenEnd.
And interesting.
But
This is interesting. I thought GoldenEnd was going to go with the Siege Workshop and fully commit, but instead it's going to add 2 town centers back at home. And once those 2 town centers up, GoldenEnd won't be too far behind.
yeah, one thing that's worth pointing out is that Classic Pro is Classic Pro will most likely kill these villagers here from GoldenEnd sooner or later. So still 4 gold miners there from GoldenEnd right next to his base. Either if he upgrades this tower to fletching, then he should be able to reach those villagers, or even with the knights he has, he could kill those villagers very soon. But yet again, here come the pikes. There's gonna be some huge amount of pikes, but as you said, what is he gonna do with just pikes? Meanwhile, he's sitting behind a double layer of palisade walls already. So, yet again, the house wall.
So
The
which
house
player
wall over
do-
here from...
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Go on.
Which player's position do you prefer?
Classic Pro. Absolutely Classic Pro. He's on free TCs as well. He's gonna have Slav farming. He's gonna have a way mobile army. So, thing is that all knights are inside. Obviously now I'm favoring Classic Pro, but yeah, the mobility of those knights will help him quite well. Beautiful Quick was there from GoldenEnd eventually, but yet again,
I would
still
be
this is
careful
open
if you're
left.
Classic Pro. You could get trapped. And here
Yeah,
comes
that's
the
true.
pikeman around.
Oh,
That
this
house
is
on 10 HP.
this is gonna be very close.
Oh, he didn't finish off the house. It's on 2 HP.
Oh, that is so sloppy. Yet again, scouts are inside on the left side as well.
Oh, he's walled. It's 125 HP.
Yeah, he
Pikemen
needs to
are
kill that
coming.
gate. He needs to kill that gate.
80, 50, it's down. Okay.
He needs to go down. Go inside. Those are the lumberjacks.
The pikemen are following though.
Oh boy, this is getting messy and messy. And villagers are fighting on the wood line of GoldenEnd. That's never a good sign. Once the knights arrive, that should be a number of dead villagers. Also, I hear mangonels. Yep. Mangonels coming from Classic Pro as well, taking down the remaining towers. And yeah, now GoldenEnd's eco is in a huge trouble. I think Classic Pro can even afford to lose these knights over here if he picks off a decent amount of villagers. So
Yeah, I think they paid for themselves.
monastery coming up for GoldenEnd, but it's way too late. It's gonna be way too late. Those militias still alive though.
Yeah, they're they're getting their money's worth. But all the
And-
knights will go down, so that's not too bad. It's still bad, but it could have been worse, I suppose, if you didn't kill the knights.
Yeah, I agree on that one. So still just 12 villagers behind, but he has a huge military. Most of them are full HP pikemen. And let's see what Classic Pro is gonna go for. Classic Pro investing a lot in scorpions, which is kind of obvious because he's facing a lot of those
What the hell?
pikes.
Look, Golden ends up to the Imperial Age.
Oh
What?
boy!
Maybe use the market a lot? And he still has enough stone for castle. I'm confused. What? Is the Vikings' eco that strong?
Well, Viking's eco is great, and if you think about that, he invested like, let's say, into 15 pikemen in feudal, but after that he had no military production in Castle Age. As compared that to Classic Pro, who
That's
went
true, the
for, like,
pikeman costs almost nothing. Oh man, that's
Well,
crazy.
And here comes the dock. Thank you. Also, GoldenEnd is housed. Let's not forget that.
Well, he won't have to
Golden
worry
is
about
heavy.
that for a while once that castle gets up.
Yeah, the thing is that we're gonna see a dock. Can we see longboats? That's my question.
So both players up into the Imperial Age. This is pretty crazy. Classic Pro has a much better economy. I still prefer his position because he can upgrade Heavy Scorpion with that economy and have a very strong army with siege. But I think without the strength of the Slav siege, the Vikings should be superior. But I think it's all about that Slav siege.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So basically, the main issue for GoldenEnd at this point is he just has pikes, nothing else. So he has no chance to get inside the base of Classic Pro at this point. And obviously, pikes are the top tier unit over here, especially if Classic Pro goes for some champions. So those champions should be able to decimate all those spikes very soon. Or well, even Heavy Scorpions could do that, that's true. And we have longboats in the house. And they could be good. They could be good. Elite Skirm coming from Classic Pro.
I think, if anything, the longboats will be great at buying time, so I think it's a great choice of unit. I think invest as much as you can into longboats, and they will pay themselves off.
Yep, that's true. And looks like ClassicPro is going to invest a lot in elite skirms, dropping additional archer engines to the left side, and eventually... Oh, that was a lost monk. That's a little bit sloppy from ClassicPro. Lost the monk to those longboats over there.
And yeah, it's a very interesting game. You think you prefer elite skirms or heavy scorpion?
Heavy scorpion. Heavy scorpion in this scenario.
I think this map has tons of gold on it, and for that reason, maybe heavy scorpion. You don't want heavy scorpions on such an open map. You can go either way, but if you're slabs, why not go heavy scorpion?
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking as well. This is just a blob of pikemen. That's basically the entire army of GoldenEnd at this point. So, meanwhile, looks like ClassicPro is gonna go for the Cavalier. This could work. So if he goes for, let's say, Cavalier and Heavy Scorpions, then this would work, but still, GoldenEnd is in the choice of Elite Skirm.
And I think this is the upgrade of the game. Fortified Wall. I think that's exactly what GoldenEnd needs right now. I think he needs to delay, keep the middle, keep booming his economy.
Well, he's still 15 villagers behind,
yeah,
so...
he's got to keep booming.
But yet again, look at this. He's not even investing anything in military, so all he has is just steal those pikemen and a few longboats, but look at the longboats destroying that stable from ClassicPro. It's definitely gonna slow down the cavalry production from ClassicPro, but yet again, oh, this is gonna be very close here. Definitely gonna be very close because those skirms will try to harass those builders over there, and eventually, I saw capped ram for someone. Was it ClassicPro?
It would have to be, I think.
Well, because he could get through these walls over here. Cap Trams coming up for ClassicPro. He should be able to get through these walls because the Scorpions and Skirms will just snipe down the villagers. Look at this. GoldenEnd just adding more and more layers of fortified walls.
And that's the perfect spot to push. It's far away from the longboats. You know, have a castle there for ClassicPro, which is great. Great option. GoldenEnd's gonna have to wall behind that, and I think he should do it sooner rather than later. And he's gonna have to have some sort of solution for this army. Probably sooner rather than later.
2 additional siege workshop going up for ClassicPro, so he's gonna actually be very committed to that siege push over there. And conscription first, most likely we're gonna see traps after that. I mean, at least one trap would be very helpful in this situation.
GoldenEnd still needs more time. He's 20 villagers behind. Luckily he did build the trebuchet from his own castle, and is going to start trebbing the castle of ClassicPro. Might be a mistake to go for conscription first. We'll see if GoldenEnd is able to keep his trebuchet alive. Here comes the first ram for ClassicPro.
This is going to be beautiful. This is going to be beautiful trap placement. It's just protected by all those longboats. There is nothing that ClassicPro can do with this one. He could suicide some players into that one, but that's going to cost him very badly, I think. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. He might lose a lot of cavaliers to this.
Losing a few, I think it was worth it though.
Yeah, it was worth it. A little bit sloppy microing there by GoldenEnd, I would say. And now the skirms are inside. Just more and more layers of fortified walls. Look at this. So, thing is that, as I can see, 3 TCs for ClassicPro, 4 TCs for GoldenEnd. So indeed, he will need to get his villager numbers up. But yet again, the thing is that the difference isn't really decreasing.
Not quite yet. It's going to take some time.
Meanwhile, we're going to have a defensive castle from GoldenEnd. ClassicPro really pushing hard.
I like GoldenEnd repairing his mangonel. He can't afford the onager upgrade, so he just has to repair the hell out of these mangonels to keep these skirmishers and rams back.
Yeah, just look at the rams from ClassicPro. I would like to see ClassicPro pushing on the left side as well with some rams. I mean, there's just one mangonel. Yep, one mangonel there from GoldenEnd, so he can't actually protect on both sides. Could try to pierce through the walls here on the left. That's a lot of rams, though. Look at that ram count. Oh, he's gonna go for the longboats with rams, right?
I don't think rams are too good against longboats, to be honest.
Well, at least they're gonna be alright absorbing the arrow fire.
Maybe, but the longboats shoot multiple arrows, so that does more damage.
Yeah, that's true, but If not for that, why would you make this many rams? Yeah, he's trying to get
He's
inside
through the
base.
walls.
Yeah, but yet again, he's losing everything. Meanwhile, I mean, just look at this destruction. He has lost his castle. He is losing his skirms now.
I
and
mean,
now
to be
all
honest,
those rams.
I'm surprised that ClassicPro hasn't won already.
What? Right now, I feel like GoldenEnd could even be in a better situation. Now just 10 villagers behind, and
I feel like we're watching a throw.
yeah, absolutely true. So this is why I asked about the Rams. I mean, okay, you want to get through the walls, that's true, but yet again, if you lose all your military and you just have Rams, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. I mean, look at this one. The pikes will just destroy all the Rams.
Yeah. So just to be clear, I think ClassicPro should have already won this game, and yet GoldenEnd is still holding. He's still holding with pikemen, with longboats, with mangonels that he's repairing like crazy. Is he going to be able to continue to hold and make a comeback? It's only a 7 or 8 villager difference now.
Really messy game, really messy. And
I
the
think
Rams
he
are
will.
actually going... What? Rams attacking the longboats.
They don't get a bonus. You'd think they would, but they don't.
They're definitely listening to the stream, to be honest. I mean... Don't take the bad ideas.
Look at GoldenEnd's position, though. He is a fully boomed Viking player with some longboats, a good defensive position on 2 castles. That's
Yeah,
not
this
too
is
bad.
getting... Oh, Cavaliers on the right side, though, for ClassicPro. He could go into the eco over here. This could be a disaster for GoldenEnd, though.
That could be a disaster.
Not enough pikes. That's not enough pikes. He can actually afford to just run around and kill villagers left and right. That's exactly what he needs to do.
Someone in the chat saying Fat Slob. It's the legend of Fat Slob. Do you know Fat Slob?
Yep, I am well familiar with Fat Slob.
Fortified walls and the big defense.
Yeah, but yet again, GoldenEnd losing decent amount of villagers to these Cavaliers over here. I think ClassicPro might need a stronger cavalry push from the right side, because the left side is kind of well fortified. Has a lot of scorpions, but still no heavy scorpion for ClassicPro. ClassicPro, another castle. What is it? Oh, look at this! Look at the villagers crossing the lake. If the longboats find that,
I don't
This
think
would
they
be-
will.
yeah, I don't think either. What is that castle from ClassicPro though?
He's just trying everything. He should have won this game, and I think he knows it. And he's just trying to put down everything, build everything that he
Oh,
can.
yeah, this is the... Yeah, the only thing I can think of is to basically castle this wood line, but oh boy, GoldenEnd's gonna find it. GoldenEnd's gonna be able to find it. Still, ClassicPro has still a decent amount of Cavaliers on the right side. The only thing that is actually in the favor of ClassicPro, I think, at this point is the map control. And yeah, GoldenEnd fighting the villagers, that's not a good sign. I think ClassicPro needs to push this from the right side.
Is this castle going to get up? It's halfway
Uh,
up. We have a few pikemen coming over.
Yeah, the pikemen should be able to save the day.
I don't know. They don't do too much damage versus villagers.
Yeah, but yet again, just 3 villagers building it, and those are some very low HP villagers.
Oh, but here's
Yeah,
some walls.
the quick walls.
Not
What
done
is
yet,
this?
though. Walls are not
What
finished.
is this? Brax, yeah, if we see a transition to champions from ClassicPro, this should be his game, I believe. So, right now the only thing GoldenEnd is spamming is just pikemen. So for ClassicPro, but yet again, he's starting to trap down that castle already. So, I'm
No,
not
we
exactly
have a
sure if
game
it's
on our
Brax.
hands. We have a
Whoa.
game. This game is not going to be over anytime soon.
This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Indeed, very interesting. He's gonna snap down that trap, I think. Yep, ClassicPro will snap down that trap. It's gonna be close though, because he's very low HP Cavaliers. Eventually losing those Cavaliers, but the trap is down. And let's see, Družina coming up. And Boyars!
Okay.
Boyars for ClassicPro.
That's not bad, actually.
Yeah, that's not bad, but I would actually think about going champions
Yeah,
instead.
I think
mean,
champion's the obvious answer.
he's already building these barracks. I don't think he even has Man-at-Arms upgrade yet. Again, another push with those Rams. Just look at the layers of fortified walls. That is
When I think of slabs, I think of Heavy Scorpion and I think of Champion. I don't think of Elite Skirmisher and Cavalier.
and pikemen.
The game, yeah. But what
Pikeman
I
for
think.
Classic Pro. He's going for Man-at-Arms as well, but what? Why Pikeman?
Because it's cheap.
Yeah, that's true. That's the only thing I can think of. That, but yet again, look at those longbows doing damage on the villagers there from Classic Pro. So they're definitely harassing those farmers now, as Classic Pro is running out of space for his farms. So yeah, the only thing I can think of is that he's going for pikes, because he's actually predicting that he's gonna run out of gold very soon. 2 relics for GoldenEnd at 0 for Classic Pro. That's also worth mentioning so far, even though Classic Pro could actually grab basically all 3 remaining, if I can see that right.
Someone's saying pikeman to counter the longboat's 200 IQ move.
Yeah, he's going for Halberdiers. Yeah, this is gonna be Halberdier spam, I feel like. He's just gonna spam Halberdiers in the face of GoldenEnd. This is gonna be the way to go. Probably he can't afford... But Classic Pro is sitting on 2,000 gold. So yeah, Halberdiers are cheap, but he's sitting on 2k gold. And he's facing just Pikeman. So yeah, Halberdiers will be great in actually chasing down those villagers and just doing damage in the eco. And they're also quite cheap, but yet again, he's sitting on a lot of gold and just spamming Halberdiers.
Well, the
Just
thing is
like
with the Dragina upgrade, as Project Belgium points out, my chat, those Halberdiers, they normally have 10 attack. With the Dragina attack, they can have 15 attack, 20 attack, depending on how many units they are surrounded by. So they are pretty deadly.
Yeah. In this case, that's kind of obvious. So instead of going for the champions to counter the pikemen, he's just going for mass Halberdiers. Look at the amount of Halberdiers popping out. This is the explanation. So with Dragina, they are gonna be insane if you have huge amounts of them. I mean, look at this swarm of Halberdiers.
On the other hand, GoldenEnd has punctured a hole into Classic Pro's base, and he's raiding with pikemen. This is one of the most unorthodox games I've ever seen.
Oh boy, this is gonna be glorious. This is gonna be glorious because, well, now GoldenEnd has the villager, but yet again, Halberdiers inside his eco as well. Lots of villagers could die very soon from GoldenEnd's side. Well, at least we'll have some more population space for more military units.
And it's a complete fucking mess in Classic Pro's base.
Yeah, I mean, he just built 2 mills right next to each other to the place of the TC. Like, defensive mills in action. And another defensive mill. Look at this. 15 villagers building when they're actually being killed by pikemen. Defensive mills in action, guys.
We all joke that the Slavs farmers are the most OP, so by extension the Slavs mills must also be super OP.
GoldenEnd actually escorting his wood eco to Classic Pro's base as he's getting raided at the back of his base, so he'll just transfer his lumberjacks. Base trade going on.
What is this game? So to be serious, GoldenEnd, he's got up to the good villager numbers. In fact, he's 20 villages ahead, but he doesn't have a farm eco. That's very good. He needs to rebuild his farm somewhere. And maybe that would be in Classic Pro's base.
Two-handed swordsman, starting to spam it inside the eco of GoldenEnd. So yeah, GoldenEnd is gonna lose most of his base, but yet again, he's gonna escort most of his eco. Classic Pro's base, and now Classic Pro will have a crippled eco. And the thing is that Classic Pro is running out of resources, so he can't afford to spam units.
Just the position of GoldenEnd, and part of it is because he's got the longboats, but the position of GoldenEnd is so much better. He has essentially split Classic Pro's base in 2.
Yep, that's true.
But will he be able to maintain that position?
Yeah, this is hilarious. I mean, look at this. He's just farming right next to the siege workshop of Classic Pro. And oh, the towering strategy from Classic Pro, denying the wood over here from GoldenEnd's base on the left side. Eventually, GoldenEnd will lose a decent amount of viewers to these two-handed swordsmen raiding over here. And here come the Berserks. Berserks against Dragina two-handers.
The two hands definitely are going to win. That Dragina upgrade's too strong.
Yep, that's true. That two-hander can just bear so much punishment. This is very messy. But still, GoldenEnd is the villager lead.
Yeah, he has the villager lead. He needs to find some place to farm, though. That's his big problem.
Oh, look at that. The tower from Classic Pro. He's trying to just push away the villagers of GoldenEnd from his wood.
Where's the tower? Oh, it's on the south. And the left.
GoldenEnd selling a lot of wood, so what is he going for?
Well, I don't think he's mining any gold.
GoldenEnd is mining gold on the right side with just one villager. That's all the gold income he has, I think.
This game's crazy just as far as the positions are concerned. Classic Pro's main military production is in the south, but his base is exposed in the north, and both players are getting raided heavily.
Yeah, this kind of looks like a base trade to me now. Look at this. GoldenEnd just moving his entire eco inside the base of Classic Pro.
Well, what he should do, he should take the time to delete his walls and then place farms there, and they'll be protected by the castle.
That's one possibility indeed. Oh, this is very messy. Very messy. Still believe that in the long run, Classic Pro could be better in this one because, well, sooner or later we're gonna run out of resources, especially gold, so... And their Druzhina Haberdis will just decimate everything. Still, look at this, Classic Pro placing defensive towers to just push away those lumberjacks, and GoldenEnd now has a huge villager lead.
Look at these quick gates for the Treb on the left. Top left.
Yeah, 200s inside GoldenEnd's base. Look at Jet TC just getting destroyed completely. And that's gonna be a lot of dead villagers there from GoldenEnd.
So both players losing tons of vills.
Yeah, this is what I refer to, like, there's gonna be a lot of more population space for military units. Yeah, this is looking like a huge mess. Eventually, I feel like GoldenEnd might be in a better situation. He's completely destroying the eco of Classic Pro.
I think his castles are a huge asset to him. I think that Classic Pro might not be able to advance past those castles. But on the other hand, Classic Pro is adding Light Cav, and I think Light Cav are going to be so valuable.
Yeah, he's just killing villagers left and right. GoldenEnd now below it. Look at the dead villagers from GoldenEnd from just a few seconds. Yeah. He was like at 100 villas.
Plummeting.
Yeah, this can be a game changer.
I think
this can definitely be a game changer.
Yeah, I think that was over. I think the addition of Light Cav is what sealed it.
It's also on the right side, so that the TC and eco of GoldenEnd on the right side will be cleaned up very, very soon. And now, just 60 villas for GoldenEnd. This is gonna be a victory for Classic Pro. Very hard fought victory if he wins this one.
Oh,
definitely the best match in this series.
It's ridiculous that GoldenEnd had a chance to win this in the position that he was in. Really good play from him. Classic Pro making some mistakes as far as army composition, point to attack, some YOLO plays, but in the end, just Druzhina upgrade and Slav's
in the GoldenEnd. So yeah. And this has to be over. GoldenEnd won't be able to sustain his military numbers, and we're eventually seeing some monks from Classic Pro converting those berserks. Well, he's definitely just trying everything, just spamming out every military unit he has access to. And yeah, problem is that GoldenEnd's eco is completely done. I mean, less than 60 villagers, 30 idols. Just remaining villas are inside Classic Pro's base. And they're just getting massacred by towers, so...
Okay, to play devil's advocate, Classic Pro's eco is also so thin on the map that it could get destroyed in like 2 seconds.
That's also true, and the Pikes are doing the exact same thing also. Now, Berserk's running around, and looks like Classic Pro is gonna lose a lot of villas here very soon as well.
I think we're gonna go back to Dark Age.
Oh boy. Oh, this is gonna be very important. And 2 relics for GoldenEnd, so if all villagers die, he will still have the eco lead. This is ridiculous.
So it's
absolutely
gonna be 50 hills for GoldenEnd. And for Classic Pro... Can Classic Pro stabilize? The problem is Classic Pro... So if Classic Pro had some castles or something to defend his base, that would be great. If he had his production with his eco in the same place, then that would be great because he could defend. Neither of those things are true. GoldenEnd still has 3 castles and can still build around them.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And the thing is that GoldenEnd can just spam pikemen all inside the eco of Classic Pro, and this is exactly what he's doing. So he's just spending pikes left and right. Raid on the left, Raid on the right side. Yet again, I feel like GoldenEnd's eco is so weak now. He won't be able to sustain his military numbers. I mean, look at that. He's basically out of everything. Well, somewhat similarly to ClassicPro. ClassicPro still making villagers, even though he has a lot of idols.
I just feel like if GoldenEnd wanted to rebuild his economy again, it should be next to his castles, but he's really not doing that.
This is very messy. I think the siege units from GoldenEnd is definitely that's making the difference. Town center going up for GoldenEnd. So there was a lot of buildings that were protecting ClassicPro's base, although he didn't have a defensive castle. That's true, but the traps from GoldenEnd just made a quick work of that. Meanwhile, there is no traps from ClassicPro because he has a castle somewhere. Okay, he has a castle on the right side, but he's not making any traps, so he can actually take down the castles or any buildings of GoldenEnd at this point. And this is so messy. So messy. Everyone just raiding the other player. I mean, look at that in the top of the map. One villager trying to get through the walls over here.
I'm watching that too.
I mean,
what is going on?
It's like free Hungary. It's like Hungarian work. Free pikemen just one villager trying to take this wall down. I mean, what? The pikeman just standing there watching that poor villager trying to take that
GoldenEnd's still trying. He's getting town centers up. The new town center on the right will actually be defended by longboats, ideally. So both players are still trying to boom and try to get back in. Look at the big migration on the top left.
Top left. Yeah, on the right side, we're gonna have a TC going up for ClassicPro, but it's already being raided by some berserks. Looks like ClassicPro is trying to rebuild his eco on the right side with 2 TCs already. And ClassicPro, again, above 80 villagers. Oh, this is hilarious. But yet again, the military numbers for GoldenEnd, huge advantage for him. So even though ClassicPro has 30 villagers more, he has a lot more idols as well, and he has a way weaker military.
The boats are on the land. What is this game? The boats are on the land to the south of ClassicPro's main base.
This is hilarious. I mean, look at this. He's building his farming eco right next to ClassicPro's base.
You can't beat him, join him, then the Slavs farms are too good to beat.
Yeah. Oh, this is insane. Absolutely insane. ClassicPro will try to rebomb on the right side, and he's gonna have access to a lot of gold still. So this is gonna be important for him. He's gonna have a lot of barracks. Probably he's falling back to this castle on the right. Still, he might even lose his entire base here on the north. I mean, just a huge amount of military from GoldenEnd. And just raids everywhere. Really, just pikemen running around trying to find the villager picks.
Well, as far as gold is concerned, looks like ClassicPro has a lot more access to it. GoldenEnd just finding a little bit of gold in his main base. So ClassicPro has the gold edge. He still has the villager edge, but just can't handle the raids, can't handle the longboats.
Yeah, that's the problem for him. So he definitely has a way better eco in the long run. He also has way more access to gold. So if we are gonna take a look at the achievements, I can actually do that in a second. So achievements, if I take a real quick look, way more gold for ClassicPro, going almost 20,000 gold as compared to just 12k from GoldenEnd. So he definitely has a way more gold, but he can't capitalize on that one.
Well, it looks like both players are going to kind of boom on the right sides, and they should be safe. Perhaps that will stabilize the game. We now have double the villagers for ClassicPro.
Yeah, that's true. I think that can be a game decider. I think
should be.
All he needs is just a few siege engines, I think. So he needs to take these castles down from GoldenEnd, and then he should be alright. Cleaning up the original base from GoldenEnd. And after that, it's basically just scattered villagers from GoldenEnd who he could raid, so... Yeah, look at that, raids everywhere from both players. Really... Wherever I look, it's just insane amounts of raids. On the right side, we could see halberdiers from ClassicPro. Still, those longboats are doing so much damage. I wish there were some individual unit statistics, just to see how much damage those longboats did.
I think that GoldenEnd, I think one thing he could have done to get get better raids, I think he should have gone into Lightcap.
Yeah, that's a possibility. He still can do that.
Well, it's a little late now. He's only on 55 bills.
Well, not exactly sure if he's... Doesn't look like he's rebooming, to be honest. He's making villagers, but just only on the right-hand side TC. On his original TC now, he's starting to make wills, so he could still reboom into this one, but indeed it's true. ClassicPro has done a way better job at actually replenishing his villager numbers. So... Well, even though ClassicPro's base is a huge mess and he has a lot of idols, he now has 120 villagers again. And let's see, GoldenEnd is basically at the bare limit of his resources. I think ClassicPro just needs one good push on the eco of GoldenEnd. That's all he needs. Possibly we could get that on the right side. If he can take this TC down and kill the Wills, then that should be enough. But still, this is hilarious.
These Berserks on the top might get a good raid. If they can kill these Lightcap.
That's true as well, basically raiding everywhere. So, the first two matches were very, very fast, but after this... Now we're getting some way longer matches. And this is indeed a very good raid by the Berserks. And another TC going up for ClassicPro. He really wants to get this up. And right side, we're gonna get some raids from ClassicPro as well. So eventually, GoldenEnd will be stuck with around 60 villagers for the time being. This is very massive.
It's still double for ClassicPro, even though they've both been booming. And... I don't know, man.
This is like just a huge mess. Also, guard tower upgrade for ClassicPro. I just don't know. I really don't know.
I think ClassicPro, if he just now he's got enough vills, he could eventually discontinue vill production and then bank up that food for Lightcap and then raid.
Yeah, that's true. Still, he has 50 idols, so yeah, he has 100 vills, but still 50 idols for...
Wow.
That's not the way to go. So even if... So technically GoldenEnd has a better eco. He has just 60 vills, but no idols. As compared to 100 vills and 50 idols.
That's crazy.
Also, suiciding those cap trams into the arrow and villager fire is not going to help him at all.
Oh my God.
This is so massive. Just look at the eco on the north here from ClassicPro. Basically, all villagers idle. Problem is that I think he's running out of wood and he can't actually replenish his farms.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, ClassicPro is at 300 wood, and just look at the idle farmers over here.
Do you think GoldenEnd would win this?
I don't know.
Oh,
I really don't know. I think all ClassicPro needs is just one or two well-placed castles. But yet again, he has no resources, so I think GoldenEnd might even have a better eco at this point.
ClassicPro cannot push any of these town centers. All the town centers are on the shoreline. It's crazy.
This is very tough to judge. And ClassicPro is still trying to play this with towers inside GoldenEnd's base. He's really trying everything.
I'm just gonna put this out there. I think that GoldenEnd is gonna win it, and I think this is gonna be the most amazing victory I've ever seen.
I am also starting to bet on GoldenEnd. He has a way more balanced eco, so yeah, he's behind the villager numbers, but he has no idols. He has some safe eco here on his original base. His right-hand side base is also quite safe because the longboats actually protect the TC and villagers from the two-handers on the right side. Meanwhile, just look at ClassicPro. He's so spread out. He has villagers everywhere, but 40 idols for minutes now. So it's not like he has idols from some time. Just looking around his base, his northern base is basically done. I mean, look at that. Villagers are standing there getting destroyed by the Berserks.
Berserks are normally not a great raider, but in this situation, they are a great raider. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is absolutely hilarious.
I think this game's coming to a close. To be honest, I think it is. I think GoldenEnd is picking up a little steam.
Absolutely true. Just 25 villagers behind now. He is replenishing his villager numbers beautifully. I think all he needs to do, is just to harass the eco on the right side from Classic Pro. So Classic Pro's left-hand side eco is just basically a mass. Look at the amount of villagers standing idle. Wherever I look, idles.
I think that this game might highlight a little bit of the importance of momentum. So when we had the big push from Classic Pro in the early game, and then GoldenEnd doing the fat slob walls, everything said Classic Pro should win, except he couldn't gain any momentum. He couldn't bust through those walls, give a good finishing blow. For the mid part of the game, both players taking each other out, but Classic Pro really hasn't been able to gain any momentum. And even though GoldenEnd, has been half the villagers of Classic Pro, I think just him keeping that momentum and growing it really might be a good reason why he's going to win this in the end.
That's true, and you can see that Classic Pro is really trying to do everything he can, just spamming rams and two-enders, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work now. Problem is that his eco is basically huge, and now GoldenEnd has the villager lead, and he has way less idles. Just way less idles.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, GoldenEnd has the villager lead. For a lot of this game, he's been at half the villagers, and this is crazy.
And
I
now,
think the positioning's so important too.
Yeah, Classic Pro is gonna lose a lot of villagers now as well here on the left side, so this gap is just gonna get larger and larger. This is GoldenEnd's game.
Oh my god.
That is absolutely
That's so crazy. The castle position was, I think, really helped a lot for GoldenEnd. The longboats helped a lot in keeping map control.
Yeah, these two castles are definitely game winners. This was the reason why Classic Pro couldn't just swarm him with a huge amount of Družina halberdiers. So, if you remember, that was like a bush on the right side from here when he just swarmed with halberdiers, and it was eventually cleaned up by these castles. So,
well, I think it shows some of the importance of building your military production where you're weakest, where your economy is. Because Classic Pro had his military in the south, and then he was getting raided in the north and couldn't defend from that.
Yeah, now Classic Pro falling behind in villager count. He's gonna lose additional ones very, very soon.
And this GG?
Oh boy.
That was spectacular.
This is insane.
GoldenEnd should have never won that game. But here he is.
Yeah, that definitely one of the greatest comebacks I've seen. And this will make it a 2-2 series. The only thing I've said about this match, to be honest, is that it is highly unlikely that we will see another one in this series like this. So sometimes when you have a great game in one of the series, after that comes some kind of mediocre ones, and it's like, well, this definitely has been the best game in the series, so there's no way that we're gonna see a better one than this.
Yeah, the timeline's really crazy. Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to this game
5.
It's 5. Thank you. Game 5 in the Aspiring Experts Tournament semifinals between Classic Pro and GoldenEnd. On the top left, we have Classic Pro playing as the Italians. On the bottom right, we have GoldenEnd playing as the Malays. So we don't have an Italians matchup. We do have Malays and Italians. Do you think either of these civilizations have an advantage on this map?
I wouldn't say that in particular. Both of them are extremely strong civilizations. They're a little bit different, but they're both very strong naval civs, so I wouldn't say that there is any major advantage for either player. Looking at the maps, what kind of stands out is that GoldenEnd has both of his gold pairs kind of close to each other. Also has very limited backwood for him, so he might have some wood issues later on. Still, he's gonna have secure access to gold. Also, his primary stone is extremely exposed on the front line, and the other stone he has is just at an extremely unfortunate position. Well, on one side, this is a good stone because it's just gonna block the entrance to his base. On the other side, this is a horrible stone because it's just extremely hard to mine for GoldenEnd. So I don't like this stone here on the right side of his base. On the other side, ClassicPro has kind of a decent map, but he's completely open from both sides. Well, he could potentially wall off left side without any trouble, but right side is kind of exposed. That's something I don't like personally.
Yeah, as far as these civilizations, both civilizations will be up to the next age faster. The Malay, of course, get that bonus inherent, and they advance to the next age faster. The Italians save food going up to each age. The Malay might tech into harbors if it goes late game, and that would be a very, very strong option with a map that has so much of the shoreline. But otherwise, the Italians have some other water bonuses, that their fishing ships are cheaper, their upgrade to galleys are cheaper, and the Malay get extra line of sight on their docks and better fish traps. So a lot of different bonuses that could be going for water. I would say it's about an even matchup. On land, neither of these civilizations are particularly spectacular. First stock going up for ClassicPro on the north, and GoldenEnd's going to see it right away. Loom is still not done.
He was unable to actually pick off that villager. That's the key thing here. I'm a little bit surprised that ClassicPro is actually choosing that water, but it looks like GoldenEnd's just going to go for the other one. Now, controlling the water is going to be extremely important over here because both players are kind of close to the water. This kind of looks almost similar to the setup that Belgium played against School, to be honest. I mean, the maps are so similar between the two games, and still, if you gain control of water over here, you're going to have the chance to actually go for war galleys, and that can definitely harass the eco of the opponent over here. They're so close to the water, so even the farming eco could be hurt by that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another reason. Oh! Scout's going to run into the town center for ClassicPro, and GoldenEnd's going to spare it.
That was a huge amount of damage, though. So he has 3 HP remaining. That's one hit from a villager, if I'm right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one hit from the village.
So, a little bit sloppy beginning from ClassicPro, let's say that. Looks like GoldenEnd's gonna do some decent scouting around his base as well. GoldenEnd has a beautiful information about the resource layout of ClassicPro, if we actually observe that one. So, he knows about both golds, he knows about the stone. So, he has a lot of information to work with. That's gonna help him quite a bit. Look at that Loom hitting at the exact same moment for both players.
Both players being very particular with their builds. ClassicPro, however, is quicker up to the next stage. GoldenEnd is going to add a few more villagers.
But, well, he will most likely hit Fuel Age at
he's Malay, so it makes sense. Yeah.
Exact same time. So he can actually afford to do that. This is a huge advantage for Malay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
like, Fuel Age time in these war maps are so essential because with earlier Fuel you can pop out fire galleys way earlier. Also, ClassicPro is going to decide to use the front gold instead of the back one. Now, do you like that choice?
I don't mind it because I think we'll go into galley battles to start and eventually see some walls. I'm interested in GoldenEnd. He has not clicked up to the next stage yet. He is, you think he's going to go for a fast castle build? What is this? This is too late
I
for
feel
Malay.
like this could be something like that. I mean, not even a Brax.
No, it's going to be a fast feudal, but it's a late fast feudal. Even with Malay.
I can't really decide if it's intentional. Well, he clicked up 4 wheels behind, so could be intentional or... Well, it's kind of tough to judge, but yet again, this will mean that ClassicPro is already building his second dock on the borders of GoldenEnd, so he should be able to have some decent fire galleys by the time GoldenEnd reaches feudal, and this is why I was scared for... This is a little bit too late, feudal, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is.
Yep.
Maybe GoldenEnd knows the rush distance is kind of long, so he can afford to get more villagers, but I think this is still a little bit too late.
Yep, he's just going up with his second dock. Eventually, ClassicPro losing his scout to villager over there, so no scout for ClassicPro. And it looks like GoldenEnd is still lurking around with his scout right next to the docks. He sees the double docks coming from ClassicPro. Still, he's gonna be behind in fire galley production for now.
Well, the key is the galley going to be ready before the galley of Classic Pro comes? I think it could be. The galley for GoldenEnd is almost ready, and it's rally pointed to defend. So this might be actually a pretty clean build from GoldenEnd if he gets this fire ship out in time and he's able to defend. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, he needs to save his fishing ships though. So this is gonna be disaster for him if he loses those.
Yeah,
he can't afford to lose it. Especially considering that the Classic Pro has an unharassed fishing eco, even though he's just on 3 fishing ships as compared to 4 of GoldenEnd.
That's not too bad for GoldenEnd. GoldenEnd's going to add a dock to the north as well, and so far I'd say the strategy is successful.
Yeah, this is working so far for him, but like I said, he needs to protect those fishing ships because now Classic Pro is arriving with more and more fire galleys.
Well, here's the 3rd fire ship, so that's going to be one too many. 3rd fire ship coming from GoldenEnd. Maybe a split second too late, as he's kind of losing the water a little bit.
Yeah, this is... Oh, the demo! The demo could be beautiful there, though. That's not a very efficient demo, though.
It's okay, it took out half the HP of the other one.
Well, in that case, it was kind of alright. Still, I believe that it actually... Trade Cog! Trade Cog from GoldenEnd!
Next meta stat. It could actually get some gold. Let's see it go.
Yeah, you can do that.
Did you see the Twitch clip where the Viper was scared of a trade cog because he thought it was a demo?
Yeah, I saw that. One of my first casts ever was just casting like 2 1.7k guys who actually accidentally jumped into a houseboat game. They were like both had no idea that this map even existed, and they actually went for Dock Sneak, and we could see some trade cogs going to trade with the dock, and he's using it to trade.
It's gonna get 15 gold.
There is the 16 gold.
That is the Age of Empires villagers. They risk a lot for their empire. I think that is the ballsiest trade cog I've ever seen.
Let's go. Well, he could go for one more turn.
Well, it used to do that like 6 or 7 more times to pay for itself. So good luck.
Oh, that demo. Oh, the demo. That was a waste. Absolutely a waste. So yeah, those guys were the same. Like, you can trade with your enemy. So this could definitely work eventually. Oh, but look at that. Did you see that?
What happened?
That was a 10 HP trade cog, and Classic Pro actually went on it with his demo ship.
Oh, wow. So I guess it did pay for itself. There you go.
Yeah, that was a beautiful payoff there. Basically, I think it wasn't actually intentional from Classic Pro, although he might have actually clicked that, because that demo was coming together with the Fire Galley. Might have clicked on the trade cog with both, and then the demo just rammed that poor trade cog over there. That was still some next level stress to actually.
In my estimation, it looks like GoldenEnd is winning the water. He's got 2 fire galleys in the North Lake coming across. In the South Lake, he looks to be doing pretty well. He has more villagers on the land as well. He looks to be in a pretty good position.
Yeah, this looks very good for him. So, North Lake, there is not even fire galleys being constructed from Classic Pro. Classic Pro knows that there is a dock for GoldenEnd there, but eventually he's not gonna fight these fire galleys. So, looks like, yeah, he's popping out his own fire galleys for the Northern Lake, but this is way too late.
And the demos for GoldenEnd have been pretty effective. That was another good one, getting 2 for 1.
Yeah, so the problem is that Classic Pro will eventually have some fire guys on the Northern Lake, but GoldenEnd should be able to clean up those fire galleys and fishing ships.
A little back and forth, GoldenEnd going back now. He doesn't have the numbers in the north, taking out a lot of the fishing ships. He'll be able to get all of them for sure. And in the south, another galley battle. So hard to call these sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of balanced, I would say. So Classic Pro and GoldenEnd, I think this is gonna be even for now. Eventually, GoldenEnd might be in a little bit better situation, but Classic Pro is just fine. Classic Pro adding an archer range with archers. Could we see a transport ship here? And look at the amount of villagers that Classic Pro has on gold. He's definitely committed to grabbing a lot of gold for himself.
On the other hand, it looks like GoldenEnd, well, he's going to add 2 archer ranges of his own, but he's got a lot of resources in the bank. 500 food right now. So thinking about going into the next age. And the same thing for
Yeah,
Classic Pro.
This is gonna be Castle Age very soon for both players, which could mean that GoldenEnd gets up to Castle faster because he's melee. That can be extremely important because then he will have War Galley upgrade faster.
And he'll have 2 more villagers, and that'll be a pretty good economy advantage for him.
One thing I'm actually thinking about is that in GoldenEnd on the North Lake, instead of actually destroying the fishing ships, he's just trying to destroy the dock.
Yeah, well, if you get the dock, then I guess it makes sense. But
yeah, but yet again, those fishing ships are still making, or still getting a lot of food. Eventually, he's just gonna snap down the fishing ships now. So yeah, if he gets the dock, it's alright. But meanwhile, the transport ship coming from ClassicPro. The demo!
Get it!
The demo!
Get it! Oh, it's 11 HP! Are you kidding me? Gonna block it with
11.
the fishing ships now. This is crazy.
11! 11! Chat! Go 11. That was insane, and eventually all that worked for nothing, ClassicPro will just be stuck outside of the base of GoldenEnd, but yet again, GoldenEnd needs to watch out not to overchop his forest over here.
Yeah, it's 65 wood on the some of these trees. They're getting low.
Yeah, most likely he won't overchop because the archers will just scare away the villagers, so...
Yeah,
meanwhile,
go back.
GoldenEnd for some reason placing a lot of houses right next to the base of ClassicPro. I feel like this could be a forward siege workshop for him. With that villager... How is this wall deleted for GoldenEnd? Okay, he's just sending out some skirms. That makes sense now. For a moment I thought that he's just gonna let those archers in, but eventually skirms will scare them away for now. Beautiful demo ship there. Oh, that is a gloriously beautiful demo from GoldenEnd. That was some beautiful demo there, and eventually GoldenEnd will be faster to castle, meaning that he's gonna have fire ships faster than his opponent. Also, the archery range of ClassicPro is in danger to the fire galleys of GoldenEnd on the north, so he is not in a good situation.
We'll definitely have to rebuild that. It looks like in the middle we might have both players probably going up with the Siege Workshop to defend and to attack. GoldenEnd, since he's the first of the age, he's going to be pressuring. Let's see if he can get through these walls before the Siege Workshop comes up in defense. And better position for GoldenEnd this game. Has a very good score lead. Look at the KD, it's 30 to 15, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was looking at the military count. That is also quite impressive, especially considering that he's faster to castle, so he will even have the castle age upgrades faster for him. He's having a huge military lead at this point. Already has crossbow, still missing Botkin arrow though. Does he have a blacksmith? He should have because he has fletching on those.
An interesting decision from ClassicPro. He's just going to place a town center there in the middle. That'll work until GoldenEnd adds a siege workshop. What happened to the villager for GoldenEnd? It's not.
That's a good question. I have no idea. It's just a random amount of houses over here.
So as long as there's no siege, that town center will do its job.
Yep. ClassicPro adding another dock on the northern lake with a sneaky villager. He could try to snap down the fishing eco of GoldenEnd, which he would definitely need because look at GoldenEnd ahead with 8 villagers and more importantly 8 fishing ships. That is a huge eco lead.
Yeah, very good for him.
And the military numbers kind of speak for themselves.
However, so he should ideally, gonna add a third too. Should ideally get back in the economy.
Yeah, but yet again, here come the crossbows very soon through the walls, and when they are inside, they should be able to threaten the gold miners over there.
Nice quick walls from ClassicPro. Gonna keep those archers out.
Yeah, but yet again, he's gonna lose most of his docks, and this will be a huge fishing advantage for GoldenEnd. He still has the villager lead. GoldenEnd adding a second TC for himself now. Still, 3 TCs will be very soon for ClassicPro, so he should be able to catch up in villager numbers. But yet again, he's gonna lose complete water control, and this could mean that GoldenEnd could go for a few war galleys to try and deny this gold over here.
Yeah, certainly a few war galleys would be very beneficial towards this push. I still am looking for the siege workshop for GoldenEnd and wondering where it is. I think you should probably maybe build one in the north would be very good. He's actually going to go for an archer raid in the north, so going to try to squeeze his opponent. And it's going to be hard for ClassicPro to defend both sides of his base. Big mangonel hit though on the crossbow.
Yep, that was one beautiful hit. Meanwhile, Classic Pro is doing the decent raiding on the fishing eco of GoldenEnd, going GoldenEnd down to 3 fishing ships, eventually trying to reclaim the Northern Lake.
Here comes that raid from GoldenEnd. The transport ship dropping off archers in the north. Gonna go
That
to
is one
economy.
beautiful move. Look at the possible villager picks there.
There's so many. This is gonna be so bad.
Yeah, this can be a game decider if he plays this right. One will pick, 2 archers chasing still. I think all he needs to do is focus on the wills.
Oh, I thought he should have focused on the archers first, because he would have had five crossbows remaining.
Yeah, now it's too late. Still picking off quite a number of wills, and he can do that again if he wants to. He can do that again, even though Classic Pro is taking control of the Northern Lake. I mean, look at this. Look at this fire ship number now.
I'm
Looks
looking
like
at the villager number, and I don't know, it's a big advantage for GoldenEnd to be 10 villagers up. And still
that's
have control
absolutely
of
true.
one of the lakes.
So, yeah, even though I am pretty sure that Classic Pro is going to reclaim this water, still, GoldenEnd has been doing a beautiful job with his demo ships as well. So, even though Classic Pro gonna take the Northern Lake, it's not gonna influence the game that much, as GoldenEnd's gonna add additional 2 docks to the Northern Lake. He's not gonna give up on this one. Another demo for him, and this could be a good engagement. This could be a beautiful
Big
engagement.
demo. Wow.
Oh, that's one way to play a demo. And meanwhile, Cav Archer coming up for GoldenEnd.
Misclick, I think.
Yeah, certainly feels like it.
Castle on the left for Classic Pro.
But he's gonna lose villagers. He's gonna lose villagers in this one. Obviously, the castle will most likely go up. Still, it's gonna take quite a decent damage from the fire ships. And more importantly, 2 villagers dead again from Classic Pro, now behind by 20.
I think the 20 villager difference might be the thing that does him in.
Yeah, the castle is up for Classic Pro over here. Let's see. Still, Northern Lake will be controlled by GoldenEnd for now. I think he has a better navy over there. But what will GoldenEnd do now? Looking at his resources, he has way better resources than Classic Pro. Classic Pro is out of resources, basically. GoldenEnd having a way larger military, and still Classic Pro buying food. It's surprising.
I think he's probably thinking about going into the Imperial Age. I think that's probably why.
Yeah. Well, Classic Pro has no resources to do that.
Oh,
so
my bad. I thought you meant GoldenEnd.
Yeah, GoldenEnd, it would be reasonable for him to click up to Imperial buying food. But it was Classic Pro who bought the food. I was surprised by that. That's the reason. Here come the War Galleys. And that's what I was thinking about. War Galleys should be able to harass the base of Classic Pro over here. Eventually, looks like one lonely skirmisher is roaming around the northern part of the map. Meanwhile, okay, that is just the market going up for GoldenEnd, so he didn't actually buy food because he didn't have a market.
Now, to be honest, I don't think Classic Pro will be too far behind in the Imperial Age. As crazy as that sounds. He is playing as Italians, and he almost has 400 food in the bank. We have Imperial Age coming in from GoldenEnd. Certainly will be a lot quicker up into the next age. But what will he really do with that?
Well, that's interesting. I would like to see a forward castle from him, maybe.
Do you think he could just win this game just with water? Just take over the water and then get Cannon Galleon?
Well, with Cannon Galleon, he could do that, and I think that's what he needs to go for. I mean, okay, lots of back resources for Classic Pro, but if you take a look at his wood excess, with a Cannon Galleon, he can take down this castle, he can take down the market, he can even target the TCs if I'm right. At least the 2 right side TCs, but I think he might even be able to take down all TCs with those Cannon Galleons. Still, what would happen is that Classic Pro would most likely transition his eco to the, let's say, northern or southern part of the map, when there is just more land. But still, I think he can do this with Cannon Galleons if he wants to.
I think he can. I think the castle for Classic Pro gives him the option of trying to go back on water. But I think how important water is on this map might be just enough to win this game, and I think Classic Pro agreed. So he's gonna GG right there.
Yeah, most likely it was actually in the time that GoldenEnd reached Imperial. So he probably knew that GoldenEnd would have Galleon before he could even do anything. And with Galleons, he should be able to deny these docks on the left. That's what happened there. And like you said, Cannon Galleons would just destroy so much things. He could actually take it to something like we've seen previously. So like escape, try to go inside the base of the opponent. But I think in the end, this was GoldenEnd's game. 15 villager lead constantly. He had a better fishing eco, so no fishing eco up for ClassicPro. And, well, anyways, we are in game 6, right?
Yep.
As we're gonna have our map Bedouins with GoldenEnd playing Chinese. Wait a second. Didn't we see Chinese already?
Saw them once. Did we see them twice? I don't think so.
Because one of the players actually banned Chinese. GoldenEnd banned Chinese.
Yeah, it was banned by one. Wait. Where would we see? We didn't see Chinese in the series.
We didn't see? Okay.
What map would it have been?
It's fine. It's taking so long that
Previous
actually my
series, I've been
memory is...
casting a lot today.
Yeah, it's just so... Actually, I forget everything that happened before that one crazy game. So, we're gonna have GoldenEnd on the left side with Chinese in blue. Right side is gonna be ClassicPro as Indians. So, it's gonna be a little bit interesting setup. I really like this one, to be honest, because mirror setups are a little bit, let's say, boring to watch early on, because it's just so similar, especially considering the builds. But now, we're gonna see Chinese versus Indians matchup over here. And eventually... TC is going to go up, obviously, better for GoldenEnd over here with his Chinese, but yet again, I feel like Indians would have a huge lead if this goes very late game. Still, could imagine Chinese having an advantage, let's say, in the middle of the game. So, like early Castle Age, I feel like GoldenEnd could have the lead, something similar than what we've seen in the previous series. So, the biggest strength of the Indians, obviously, here is the fishing eco. If GoldenEnd can deny that, then it's gonna help him a lot. And also, as Indians, you could go for the camels, or you could go for the halberdier plus gunpowder push. But yet again, what is Indians gonna do against, let's say, mass Chukonus?
I don't think it'll get there. The town centers are close together. I think just ban Chinese for this map because I think they're too strong. I always switch on this map to the food count with the spectator overlay. And right now it's 300 food versus 150. So currently we have double the food for the Chinese. And it's a really strong civ on this map. I'm just... I'd like to see the Indians be able to make it to mid-game because then I think they could have a chance. But the Chinese are really strong. I'll just say that.
Yeah, that's true. There is a reason why they are quite commonly banned over here. And eventually, I think, considering that GoldenEnd banned that civ, probably the reason he banned it because he predicted that ClassicPro could take it on this map. So he definitely is a huge believer that Chinese can be a strong civilization over here. He's gonna most likely drop another, or drop a first mill on this lake. Is he? Okay, he's gonna place a mill. Now, this is kind of a right mill, I would say.
It's a lovely mill.
Yeah, this is beautiful. As
Next to the
free
deer,
fishes
it's
night
still good.
right next to it. So players don't start off with any scouts, so they'll have to use the sheep to look around. And what kind of stands out to me is that GoldenEnd is kind of far away from any stone deposit, so he's fine with gold. So I feel like I was thinking that this could be a short game, especially if we see some towers, but yet again, GoldenEnd doesn't really have access to that much stone. He could take this one on the north. That's the only thing that I can think of.
It could be a short game because the rush distance is so small as well, and both these civilizations will be getting a lot of food in the early game. And yeah, I mean, controlling the resources might be something else important. I mean, the thing with this map is it's so open because you have to keep expanding to the shorefish to have a good economy. So yeah, this map really lends itself well to short games.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think it's better for Chinese player to have short games in this one. Because, like I said, if this game was very long, then Indians might have the advantage. But I just don't feel like Indians have anything that could potentially counter Chinese in, let's say, early to mid game. So most likely, I feel like Chinese, you will most likely go for archers over here if you're playing without towers.
I
And
think scouts would be a better build.
well, maybe I could agree on that one because you can do some decent trading with it on the eco of your opponent. But yet again, in the long run, if you go for scouts, then you're going to go for stable. And, well, Classic Pros, Indians should be able to pop out some camels, although you can do that as well as Chinese. But yeah, the main thing about Indians is that their primary unit early on is the camel. And the camels just have so weak pierce armor that the Chinese archers can just destroy them very easily.
So I'm looking at the resource count as they both go to the next age. We have 200 more food for GoldenEnd and 100 more wood. And we still have a 2-villager advantage. But that, of course, doesn't take into account the food saved from Classic Pro.
Yep, that's true. So going up to Feudal Age, both players, and we're gonna see Feudal Age hitting for both at the exact same time, basically. So let's see. GoldenEnd has found Classic Pro, if I'm right, because yeah, he lost one of these sheep right next to GoldenEnd's or Classic Pro's base, so he has to know that there's a TC or a villager over there.
And just to do a little quick math, so Classic Pro has built 20 villagers. He saved 5 food on each villager, just about 20 villagers, and that means about 100 resources. That means GoldenEnd has 200 more resources to work with.
I agree. So, Classic Pro and GoldenEnd as well with their own barracks. Doesn't look like any of them is popping out any militias so far. Let's see. And you're right, GoldenEnd going for the scout build, and looks like it's gonna be the same for Classic Pro. So, who do you have, or who do you think has the edge in this setup? So both players going for scouts. I think, yeah, very early spear coming up from GoldenEnd. I like that. So when you're going for scouts, a few spears can definitely help you quite well over here because you will just be able to destroy those scouts so easily. But do you think that this could come down to the food production of the individual players?
Yeah, absolutely, especially if you're going to be harassing them with scouts. Both players with 750 food in the bank, so they'll have lots of food to work with for scouts. I think Bloodlines will be a very worthwhile upgrade as soon as you can afford a mining camp, since you have so much food to play with. A lot of this is just going to be the micromanagement, and I'm very excited to see that. We haven't seen a good scout battle in a while.
Meanwhile, we've seen Spearman dying from a GoldenEnd to the TC Fire of Classic Pro, so even though I was happy to see a very early Spearman coming from him, it's gonna be lost already. And GoldenEnd going to the tower. I like this tower. It's gonna be able to deny the wood line of Classic Pro, and it will even be able to harass those fishermen. Classic Pro has no idea about that one. That's a beautiful tower placement there. Absolutely beautiful.
Completely out of the line of sight of Classic Pro. It's such a great tower. It denies all the fish and all the wood. It's denying thousands of resources, to be quite honest. A really great tower.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And it looks like we're just having a pause. Classic Pro walling quite well over here, so this is definitely turning out to be a decent wall over here. But yet again, he's gonna get raided still by GoldenEnd. GoldenEnd with 2 spears chasing down the scouts of Classic Pro. And when this tower goes up, then Classic Pro is gonna be in trouble. Scale barding armor coming up for Classic Pro though, so that can definitely be an important upgrade in this one. Still, it's not gonna be enough against those spears, so you are kind of right that Bloodlines might be a little bit more important.
It is, but it delays your production, so I can understand why. And it costs gold too, so for that reason. But I like that Classic Pro has gone with the early scale barding armor. He's realized that how much food extra he has, he can actually afford it at this early stage. And that might be something that GoldenEnd has forgotten. But however, GoldenEnd's going to get a villager on the gold. Might even get a few as he goes back.
Yeah, 6 villager lead. Oh, 7 now. Oh, look at that. GoldenEnd raiding with the scouts. I was just looking at the villager numbers to see how many villager lead GoldenEnd has. But now, look at it. He's just raiding over here in Classic Pro's base. That's 2 dead villagers if I can count that properly.
Yeah, so I think 3 of it is Chinese bonus. 2 of them have been killed, and then maybe 1 or 2 villagers worth of idle time. Classic Pro is going to get a villager of his own in GoldenEnd's base. Let's see how many more he can get.
Yeah, that was a beautiful move there. I was actually taking a look at there as well. Decent amount of lags over here, not exactly sure why. Possibly because of pause, maybe? I'm not exactly sure. That spear will die very fast to these 5 scouts, but it's just gonna give enough time for GoldenEnd to do some quick walling. He's gonna leave the gate open though. Oh, I was some last minute save over there.
The lag just, just kept you hanging for a second.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's open, but nope, it was closed.
So Spearman pushing back the scouts of both players.
Yep.
That's all over
This is
the
gonna be
place.
interesting to watch, and this is the time when I start thinking about the fact that the more you invest in your feudal age army, the less, or the later you will get up to castle age.
I'm not quite thinking that yet, because I think these scouts can still do some damage right now. Maybe we could even think about archers. Classic Pro has bloodlines and +1 armor. Meanwhile, GoldenEnd hasn't bothered with either upgrade, which is very interesting.
And yeah, he's gonna lose a lot of wheels to this one, maybe. Also, it's not only bloodlines +1, it's also he has forging. So these are some very strong. These are some very strong scouts over here. And eventually this is gonna be a lot of dead wheels for GoldenEnd.
Well, GoldenEnd doesn't have the food anymore. He's got tons of gold. Should have really been thinking about those scout upgrades from very early on. Both of them had 750 food going into the feudal age.
Yeah, but now looking at the military numbers, Classic Pro has a huge military lead now, and he's gonna tower on the south, coming with spearmen, coming with scouts. This could be good. This could be very good for Classic Pro. So for quite a time, I felt like GoldenEnd has the edge over here, but now Classic Pro definitely feels like he's having a good game.
As someone in my chat points out, look at the KD. It's 21-8. This game probably shouldn't be that close, but again, it's I think the Chinese Civ advantage. But Classic Pro has really clawed it back, and that's really crazy. Really crazy. He's clawed it back.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And still, let's see these towers. I think that GoldenEnd should be able to clean up the tower there.
Oh, I don't know. Too many scouts in the area.
Gonna be more messy. Oh, if that tower goes down, then this is basically GG for GoldenEnd. He's gonna lose so many walls to that.
Oh, I think he needs to get his army numbers up. It's gonna more or less even the villager number. But GoldenEnd definitely needs to defend at his own base. And it looks like GoldenEnd's getting a market, so he needs to do something with these resources. He has enough stone for 2 towers. I think it would be best if he built them sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Classic Pro going with another stable. So he's going double stables. He's gonna try and fight this one in feudal, I believe. Lots of spears coming for GoldenEnd now.
And somehow that tower actually is going to stay up. Just a lot of spearmen from GoldenEnd.
Yeah, but again, GoldenEnd with forging up. This is some beautiful quick calling of the gold miners. But look at that, another villager dead from GoldenEnd. Oh boy, that could be even more.
Oh, the spearmen can't be 2 places at once.
Oh, that is... Still, villager count will be even for both players, so... Eventually, still GoldenEnd could bring this back. This is some beautiful walls over there from GoldenEnd, though, although his fisherman is gonna be quite an efficient wall round like this. But still, he has the villager numbers.
Well, I think that to close out this game, Classic Pro can add an archery range to counter the spearmen. That would be it. GoldenEnd can't really... I mean, he needs to build something to defend. He needs to build more towers, or he needs to upgrade his scouts or something, because he's going to have something to defend.
Well, Castle Age going up for Classic Pro. I think once Castle Age hits for Classic Pro, GoldenEnd's going to call the GG over here. Because look at the amount of villagers he's losing. Now, completely even villager numbers, despite the fact that Classic Pro is already almost up to Castle. So, this will basically mean that now Classic Pro has a huge villager lead. Kill that ratio kind of speaks for itself as well.
And, yeah, so I guess that means we're going to go to the final game, which is pretty crazy for the series. It's been the same way for the last series as well.
Yep, that's true. Oh, the walls are deleted there. This could be a disaster if those scouts find it. Oh, let's see. And what is that? GoldenEnd just deleted the palisades and now he's rebuilding it. Let's see. Yep, light cav coming up from Classic Pro, that's exactly what I wanted to ask from you. So, having this many scouts in your army, do you consider going for light cavs?
Yeah, of course, it's a upgrade that gives you quite a bit, and Chinese, you like to get any upgrade you can because they're a little cheaper.
Yeah, those could be already +1/+1 bloodlines light cavs, so that is definitely one thing that can destroy quite a number of wheels, and still GoldenEnd is trying to fight this one. Could we see some sort of a comeback that we've seen previously?
Perhaps, but GoldenEnd's gonna have to make some sort of military first.
Yeah, thing is that Classic Pro mixing in some camos. I was expecting such move from him, so there is no way that GoldenEnd can go for knights or... Well, he could go for his own camos, that's the only thing I can think of.
I think he should probably get pikemen and...
Yeah, pikemen and archers could
got
also
enough
work.
stone for for more towers, so that might be something that he should consider.
Yeah, he has a lot of idols though, so look at that. His 4 villages behind has 12 idols.
And I think I'm just waiting for a transition again for Classic Pro. Classic Pro can either boom, he's in a good position for that, or he could transition to cavalry archers. Either would be a great choice.
Yeah, he's going for iron casting, so he's gonna continue with cavalry, it looks like. But now comes the pikes from GoldenEnd. GoldenEnd is definitely trying to win this one over here. So he's not taking this to Continental, if it's on him. Still, he's way behind now. So this will be a huge comeback from him, but yeah, just remember what we've talked about in Game 4.
And a monastery for GoldenEnd, good choice to counter the camels, but now we have 2 archery ranges from Classic Pro, and cavalry archers is going to be so strong on this map. Just all
Classic
the mobile
Pro
units for Classic Pro and the immobile units for GoldenEnd.
Yeah, and thing is that Classic Pro is just trading left and right, picking off the stone miners there. I think the only thing that could save GoldenEnd at this point is a castle.
I don't even think that would help. Maybe 2 castles.
Yeah, 1 castle could help him, I think. If he goes for castle and Chukanus, that can work. Because, well, Classic Pro doesn't really have the units to fight Chukanus at this point. That's the only thing I can think of. He's pushing forward with a lot of pikes, but hit again. Is this gonna be enough? I don't think so. So problem is that... oh, GoldenEnd's gonna keep that gate open. Oh, just closing in the final second. That was extremely close.
So the interesting thing is that GoldenEnd's got a siege workshop in the middle. If he could actually take down the stable and the 2 archery ranges, then that could actually bring him back a little bit in the game.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that as well. So... well, it's really tough to judge, to be honest. It's really tough to judge. That's a lot of pikes, though. Scale mid armor coming up. It looks like, I think crossbows for Classic Pro. It's really gonna be up to the fact how well GoldenEnd can micro that Mangonel. So if he can micro that Mangonel wall, and he's gonna be able to kill the crossbows, then this is gonna be a good move from him. Eventually, yet again, that monk is so dangerous. I mean, look at this, crossbows popping out, monk dead. I was thinking about that. I mean, that monk was so exposed. Still, Camel's waiting around for Classic Pro. Really tough to judge. Really tough to judge over here. Still, I feel like GoldenEnd now has the military numbers to fight this one, and he's landing some beautiful Mangonel shots on the gold miners of Classic Pro.
He is. I think he's got another problem though, and he's been dealing with light cav and camel raids this whole time. Now he has to deal with archer raids, and that's a whole different beast. Archers are raiding his gold on the left.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at as well. And I think this could be a game decider. And there is no way that he can deal with these archers at this point.
He's going to lose a lot of villagers.
Yeah, this has to be a GG moment. I mean, look at this one. He's going to fall below, let's say, 30 wills, or even 25.
And Classic Pro on 3 town centers. Looking really good for him as far as economy is concerned.
I don't think that GoldenEnd can bring this back, to be honest. He's trying, but yeah, those crossbows will just be so great against those spikes. So even if he takes these stables down, his eco is way behind. And like you said, it's just gonna be insanely hard to deal with these archer raids. He's gonna get denied of his resources. Still, he's trying though. What is ClassicPro doing? ClassicPro still out of resources, which is surprising considering that he has 21 villagers lead.
I think he's sinking a lot of food into the villagers, and that's probably why. The Transcenders still kind of are a little bit fresh, so haven't quite paid for themselves yet. But I think that ClassicPro, all he needs to defend is probably a mangonel or two back at home, and needs to rebuild his military production building someplace else.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And meanwhile, just more and more villagers dead for Golden, and lots of idols as well, and just crossbows roaming around everywhere. There is no way. There is no way. Look at Golden and Zico. All he can mine is just this gold on the front line. Meanwhile, he's gonna get completely cleaned up. He's pushed off all the lakes. He doesn't even have food eco. Okay, he has food eco on the right side only. That's the only food eco he has, as I can observe it.
Yeah, GoldenEnd taking his time to take down these archer ranges. They're only mangonels, not rams. A camel's actually going to come in and try to snipe off that mangonel.
Well, it's gonna die if the pikes were fast.
But all ClassicPro has to do is go 1-for-1 with these mangonels.
Yep, that's true. He has a so huge eco lead.
And it's still growing even further.
Yeah, I think... I highly doubt that GoldenEnd can bring this back. I really doubt. Eventually, the main issue for him is that he is completely denied of basically all map control, so... Like I said, his only food source is the right-hand side mill over here with 4 villagers, that's it.
And there's GG. We're going to go on to game number 7.
Alright. So they are playing this to the final.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last game of this series between ClassicPro and Project Belgium. We've had some epic games, and this is an epic series. It is tied 3-3. The top left, we have ClassicPro in yellow playing as the Malay. And at the right side, we have GoldenEnd playing as the Italians.
Kind of predictable civilizations for both players, extremely strong on the water. Could we see something similar than what we've seen in Two Rivers, judged by the civilizations?
Oh, Italians Malay. We really didn't see too much of a difference in playstyle in that game, and that's kind of what we predicted. This particular game... Yeah, I don't see it being too much different either. These two civilizations play really similar, to be quite honest. At least on these maps. They both go up to the same age quicker. I think just it's onto the players what their strategy is going to be. If they're going to go for a backdock and go for a defensive build, or go forward, or go for some sort of like land play. I do have to point out that this continental map is very different in that GoldenEnd has access to the middle and ClassicPro doesn't. I don't know who that's an advantage for. But,
yeah, I was thinking about the same. I think this could be a beautiful advantage for GoldenEnd. I've seen one of these similar maps in, I think it was in one of these Silver League matches, maybe Silver League quarterfinals or something like that. And what happened there was the fact that the player who has access to Central Land could actually drop a dock over here and just transport units endlessly to the opponent's base, because it's nearly impossible to wall it off over there. So that could be one thing to watch out for. Also, kind of worth noting is that just GoldenEnd feels like he has more land to control, especially if you add the Central Island. But also, to his right side, well, this peninsula is just so huge as compared to his opponent. But yet again, what I'm noticing is that this is a kind of a narrow continental map, so Wargalis could definitely be in play very soon. It looks like GoldenEnd was trying to just deny the villager there from the boar.
Mm-hmm. And that villager doesn't have loom. He's still very vulnerable. That's a far boar lure. And if GoldenEnd even gets one hit off on that hunter or blocks it, I think it'll be dead. And
this could be a beautiful no restarts present for either player. He's gonna be able to kill that. Oh boy, that is so beautiful. And the boar will go back. Nope.
No.
Still, beautiful move there for GoldenEnd. Remember, no player has restarts left, and we've already passed 4 minutes mark anyways, so this was the perfect strike for GoldenEnd. So what I actually started explaining is that this is kind of a thin continental map, just looking at the wood lines, for instance. So basically, both players can access...
I think this is admin re.
admin re? Why?
Yeah. Which is a little bit of a shame for GoldenEnd, but oh well.
Yeah, looks like it, because one of the boards, yeah, GoldenEnd's starting boards. One of the starting boards from GoldenEnd is at the Sunshine. Wait, it shouldn't be this classic. Yeah, it's ClassicPro's board, right? This has to be ClassicPro's board on the Central Island with just no land bridge.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
And looks like, are they not gonna call it a re? Wait a second.
Don't know.
This has to be a re. He has no access to his second board.
I think Racer left, so I don't know if he's here to step in. But this should pretty obviously be an admin re.
Yeah, well, Razor is here in the lobby.
Oh, he is great. Okay, well he'll figure it out.
But if this is not an admin restart, this is the most glorious move from GoldenEnd, if you think about that. So he basically killed a villager on one board, and ClassicPro has no access to his second board anyways. And judging by this could be a huge disadvantage for ClassicPro. And like
crazy,
I said, this
actually.
is why...
This will be controversial if this is not an admin restart.
Yeah, indeed, this is gonna be... And this is why... Yeah, ClassicPro say, where's second board?
Okay, now they're gonna save it next. So, the tournament rules are different every tournament. I don't bother to memorize them as I'm not responsible to memorize them. But sometimes players have to call the admin read themselves. They have to realize that their map is bugged by scouting the features of it. So maybe that was the policy. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. I mean,
Well, either
indeed,
way.
this is bugged map, so he has no access to his second board by any means early on.
Someone's saying this map is not tournament material. That's typically why we don't see too much Continental. It's not a common map for tournaments. Alright, so they're gonna Casters are tournament material. You can tell me to my face, you don't have to say it in the chat. Casters art tournament material.
So yeah, change your nickname, please. I mean, that's his name. I'm not asking him to change his name. Yeah, this is gonna be the last match between ClassicPro and GoldenEnd. Kind of a shame, I would say, for GoldenEnd, because he had a beautiful villager kill over there. Still, it was kind of a bug map, so I agree with the restart completely.
And if you're on the Voobly official channel, I'll be doing a raffle afterwards. After this game.
So hop into Voobly official, type exclamation mark raffle, so that you can actually win.
And let me before this game starts, I should have spammed your channel a little bit more between the games, but there's been so little time in between.
Yeah, you can still do that. Next, this is the time for the advertisements.
I put it 5 times. It should be enough. Try to make up for past time. Go ahead.
We're gonna have the final game going on now between GoldenEnd and ClassicPro. Let me introduce the players.
Sorry, just looking at the map one more time.
What?
It's fair. What is this map? Whose
What is
decision was it to put Continental in this tournament?
Oh boy. And it's not all about Continental. So in like best of 5 series, Continental was the number or the first map. But having Continental as the series decider is just something different. So we're gonna have Classic Pro as Malaysia in yellow, up on the north, GoldenEnd in blue. I might not even discuss the maps until we don't have a confirmation that this is not gonna be an estimate restart. At least Classic Pro will have both of his boards. Yeah, it's indeed fair. Although GoldenEnd has a really unlucky position for his own board, so right on the other side of the wood line, that's extremely far.
He does, but he also has a larger amount of land to himself, so...
Yeah, this is a great map for him, to be honest, because he's gonna have safe access to wood for quite time, and his eco won't be harassed by war galleys. Well, maybe his goal.
Someone's saying Salt Marsh is worse. I actually like Salt Marsh a lot. It's I'm a big fan of that map now, especially after the last game.
So, yeah, GoldenEnd's primary goal isn't that great, but it's kind of alrightish, I would say. Meanwhile, on the other side, Classic Pro's primary goal is kind of exposed. That's something I don't like. He has safe access to stone. I think the main issue for Classic Pro is going to be wood. So where could he get wood from? Most of his woodlands could be exposed to later War Galley fire, I would say.
Yeah, so Classic Pro is definitely not going to want to lose water. GoldenEnd is just a better map because you do want the option, just in case you lose water, you want to be able to have a normal land economy without being harassed by villagers. GoldenEnd luring in the board now, hesitated a little bit on it. And he doesn't have loom, but I think he should get away fine.
Yeah, it's just gonna be fine for him. Although, gonna be really close. Yeah, he's just gonna be fine if he hops into the TC instantly. Okay.
He's not fine.
But the gore... Well, at least he didn't lose a villager, that's something.
He's working on it, though.
He doesn't have the restart. Next level board loading skills over here, as we're gonna finally have GoldenEnd finishing off that one nasty board.
Yeah, well, he had to get loom because of that, and his economy's pretty messy. He's got all of his woodcutters on the same side. He had to get loom, so he's one villager down for the time being, and he's only going up with the dock now, so this is not a good start at all for GoldenEnd.
Yeah, his dock is kind of alright. Classic Pro is just docking or dropping his own. Yeah, Classic Pro is so laggy. And both of the players are actually placing docks on the outside water. I'm not exactly sure if they are aware. Okay, looks like they're aware that there is an island in the center, and this is just a central river. Curious to see if either player will go for the inside water and try to harass the other. That could work for GoldenEnd.
I think it's too risky. I mean, you don't know what that inside water's like. If there's fish in there, anything could happen on this continental map. So
yeah,
that's a risky choice.
That's absolutely true. So, but still, GoldenEnd could potentially harass the base of Classic Pro quite well over here. Classic Pro is just on a so thin land portion over here. His eco could be exposed to some ship fire over here. Looks like no stolen boars. Everyone is gonna go fine with the boars in this match, as the fishing eco is gonna be set up very soon for both players. Just a side note worth mentioning, 73 gold is the trade between the two docks, in case any players would actually decide to pop out some trade cogs.
Yeah, very useful there. Very useful info. Classic Pro, scouting all of GoldenEnd's map. GoldenEnd has been staying home to lure a few deer. Hasn't yet found the island or found his opponent's base. There's going to be a little scout fight. I never like this if you're attacking at your opponent's home. I guess it might be good for idling a villager, but you're never going to win that one.
Yep, that's absolutely true. I think it was rather just to delay the push of the deer.
Yeah.
Which kind of definitely happened. I mean, look at that deer. Look at that deer.
The Continental Curse.
Oh boy. Finally, the deer will get hunted down, but Classic Pro definitely delayed GoldenEnd over there. Let's see. No villagers going forward so far. I would like to see if some forward villagers for some land combat.
I'd like to too, but with this kind of map, it's pretty easy to wall. And
yep, that's true.
Far rush distance too. And GoldenEnd's going to go up to the next stage sooner. He is playing as Italian, so that makes sense. Classic
But
Pro
yet
probably
again,
won't be too far behind.
yeah, because, well, he's melee, so he'll click up with 2 more villagers most likely, and after that, he will reach feudal at the exact same time, so there won't be any difference between the players.
Anyone considering going for galleys in the situation, or just all fire galleys?
Well, I think fire galleys. So if you don't have larger numbers of galleys, it's gonna be really tough against fire galleys early on. So I feel like early fire galleys, and probably could transition, but I don't think that they'll do that before castle. So I feel like once you get a decent number of war galleys up, that's gonna work. But
So Classic Pro, it actually has.
looks like
Oh wait, never mind. I thought he was Actually, he's still getting a lot of food. This is weird.
it looks like this is gonna be a fast castle. I feel like this could be a fast
Did
castle.
he go up late enough for a fast castle with Malay? I guess we'll
Yeah,
see.
I was thinking about the same. So the idea of fast castle actually formed in my mind before he actually clicked up to feudal, but still, he could do this. I mean,
I don't think it's
although
gonna be
he-
too clean. I think he should have built one more villager at least,
yeah,
because he'll have to
not
build a
even
market
perfectly
blacksmith.
balanced. Also, he's gonna miss. So he's not gonna have enough wood for the 2 feudal age structures.
Not gonna be that bad though. Still, one more villager would have been better. It's so hard to optimize their build when you're not familiar with it.
Yeah, still, this is decent feudal age time for him as well. Even though GoldenEnd is gonna be faster to feudal, which will mean that there's gonna be some fire galleys popping out for him. Already coming this way. Now, I'm not exactly sure if he... Okay, he knows about the fishing eco of Classic Pro over there. He's just sending those fire galleys directly to the fishing eco. Just 1 dock for Classic Pro, if I can see the right.
So hopefully Classic Pro isn't in no man's land. He's going to have enough gold for sure. Should have enough food because he has those fishing ships. And then just needs enough wood for one more building.
Yeah, so he's gonna go for a fast castle indeed. He's not... Okay, he's producing some fire galleys, but it will not be enough to keep GoldenEnd back for very long.
No, it looks like Classic Pro's probably going to sacrifice water control. At best case, he's able to just keep his fishing ship safe.
Yeah, he can always come back to water after he clicked up to castle, to be honest. I mean, once he reaches castle, he's gonna drop a dock somewhere else. He could even try the central water if he's actually daring to risk it.
GoldenEnd having a very good scout of Classic Pro's base, especially since he killed the scout of Classic Pro. I wonder if he suspects this fast castle build. I assume he does.
Yeah, he has to know. Especially if he finds that Classic Pro is still on 1 dock. If he finds that one, then it's kind of obvious. I mean, just look at the amount of resources invested by GoldenEnd in the Navy and compare it to the ones from Classic Pro. So Classic Pro chasing down the fishing ships. Well, it's Classic Pro's fishing ships being chased down by GoldenEnd over there. He won't be able to save those fishing ships, I believe.
Classic Pro's economy is going to be so weak though, because he has to start seeding farms now. He'll need 4 farms just for villager production, and if he wants anything like economy upgrades or bodkin arrow or crossbow, then he'll have to seed even more farms.
Yeah, and he's gonna lose these fishing ships, so I'm not exactly sure if it was worth the investment, to be honest. I mean, obviously it helps very early on, but he lost these fishing ships so easily. Let's see. Scaleboarding armor early on from GoldenEnd. What is he preparing?
He's going scouts. He's got 2 stable scouts.
Yeah, indeed. A little bit surprising that he's actually placing that home. So sometimes you rather see players sneaking up on their opponent with a stable, but
I think
it might be for
option,
defense.
I think the best option would have been just to wall the edge of the map, but this is a pretty good second option, going scouts when your opponent is this far behind. I think scouts can definitely clean everything up.
Yeah, that's true, especially that considering that Classic Pro is going for archers, already going for a few spears as well, so if Classic Pro does this properly, then he should be able to deal some damage.
I think a lot of
these lumberjacks are kind of exposed.
I think a lot of this is the good scouting of GoldenEnd. He's had a really good scout of Classic Pro's base and saw this coming.
Lots of lags in this matchup, unfortunately. Which is surprising because in the first 2 matches there was basically none.
Alright, so these scouts are going to have bloodlines +1 armor. They could, sure, take out a few archers and a spearman. Crossbow and bodkin's going to come in now. It's not going to be enough regardless.
Yeah, he needs larger crossbowman numbers if he wants to fight these scouts.
And not even killing a single scout.
Yeah, those scouts will still live. And ClassicPro is not even walled to a little bit, so... Yeah, it looks like he's gonna start walling on the left side just now, but... and right side as well, so he knows that the scouts are coming. Eventually, he's not even taking the engagement with those 2 crossbows. That's a little bit sloppy, I mean... Now he's fighting, but it's kind of too late.
So ClassicPro needs to regroup for now, add a few more spearmen. If he could do that and push out, then maybe he could do some good damage. That's the hope. But eventually, GoldenEnd is going to have to stop scout production and go up to the next stage.
Yep, that's true, but... Let's see, GoldenEnd still requires a lot of food to work with, but yet again, he has 5 fishing ships as compared to the 0 of ClassicPro, so... I think in the long run, GoldenEnd will have a better eco. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Scouts, could those scouts get inside? Nope, they can't. They can't get inside, right?
Not anymore. Unless they go around. And
which could work. Oh boy. This can be a game changer over here. He needs to avoid the spear. But once those scouts get inside, oh, this could be a massacre.
Let's see. Some quick walls from ClassicPro will certainly mitigate a lot of this damage. There's the quick gate. It's still a hole there, though. And now the villagers are forced to fight. Oh, no.
This is horrible. It's not even about the villager picks. It could be about the idle time being forced, going down the lumberjacks. And this is exactly what GoldenEnd needs to do. Might even pick off a few villagers. Beautiful. Beautiful value for those scouts, to be honest.
But at the same time, ClassicPro killing villagers on GoldenEnd's lumber camp, going to kill 2 villagers.
That's some very smart moves there as well. It's going to be really messy. I'm pretty sure that ClassicPro will be able to clean this push-up from GoldenEnd now. And it's really tough to call. Really tough to call who has the edge over here at this point. Just a way better military now for ClassicPro. I mean, look at this. Huge amount of crossbows. It's going to be able to harass the eco of GoldenEnd quite well.
Yeah, this is a very interesting game. So GoldenEnd should have lots of resources going up to the next stage with 36 villagers. However, he is quite a few villagers behind from ClassicPro. So I do like ClassicPro's position. I think he's in a pretty okay spot.
Yeah, that's true. There was a huge hole right next to that gate, so that's what I was actually looking at.
And
so
the funny thing is, GoldenEnd has enough resources to fast him if he wanted to. Do you think that's worth it?
Maybe. I am not exactly sure. ClassicPro going with pikemen. He's gonna place with pikes and crossbows.
No, I don't think so. He's got food and gold, so I think he should just invest into knights. Might be a little different if he was going crossbow or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that he would actually win that much with that. Knights, although he's gonna face spikes already, so not exactly sure if Knights is gonna be a good solution.
He needs something right now.
It's something, but Knights against pikes and crossbows, I feel like this is a better unit composition for ClassicPro at this point. Military numbers also kind of in his favor. Also, he's kind of forced off the war, so ecos I would say they're kind of the same. 10 villagers lead for ClassicPro, but yet again he has no fishing ships at all.
Well, I think GoldenEnd is just going to try to outmass the pikemen. Right now it's 3 stable versus 1 barracks. So if you can have enough knights in there, then maybe they could take a good engagement.
Yep, that's true. That's indeed true, but yet again, those crossbows will also do decent damage. Although these are +2 knights already, so they could bear a lot of arrow fire.
Yeah, I think it's just all about the positioning and the numbers. So wait to take a good fight.
Yeah, ClassicPro sneaking some crossbows on the north. He could try to pick off some wheels with that. ClassicPro on 2 TCs as compared to just 1 from GoldenEnd. This is looking better for ClassicPro now. I mean, look at that. He could pick off additional villagers. And
it is, but he has to be careful not to lose his entire army. It's a very delicate position.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And this is going to be a key engagement over here. He needs to use those crossbows. He can't escape this. He's trying to find this in a tight space. But yet again, he sacrificed all those pikemen to get those crossbows in there. Still, he's going to be able to pick off quite a number of these knights. Eventually, GoldenEnd will just bail out of this one.
Nice positioning for ClassicPro, finding between the cliff and the gold mine. Very lucky. Going to clean up the crossbows in the north. That's going to be great. Going to take the easy engagement. And the Siege Workshop should help to defend for now. But ClassicPro's economy is doing pretty good. He's on, what, 2 town centers right now and is up 14 villagers. That's a really good advantage.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So I feel like this is getting larger and larger lead for ClassicPro. If he can snipe off a few more villagers over here, then this is going to be a huge lead for him, as GoldenEnd will just find the remaining sheep around his base, just to make sure. Still, look at that. Knights will have to escape from those crossbows.
They're trying their best, yeah. Too fast.
Yep, that's true. I think ClassicPro will just be fine staying here on the wood line, because he can harass the other wood line from the other side with his crossbows if he brings in a few more.
Well, here comes the Mangano, so ClassicPro could lose all of his army, and then maybe we see a counter push from GoldenEnd. He certainly needs to do some damage back at ClassicPro's base to even up the game. Let's see how
that's
this
absolutely
Mangano shot
true.
goes.
This is gonna be interesting to see. Going with the Knights, going with the Mangano, that's a beautiful split there. That's gonna be a very beautiful split. Oh. Eventually, I think this is a good engagement for ClassicPro. So he's doing his best. He's gonna lose all those crossbows, but he did quite a decent amount of damage with those. So lots of low HP Knights. Yeah, he can't get any better than that.
Well,
but yet again, look at the blob of
enough
Knights.
to do a counterattack. So ClassicPro will have to defend for now. He's taken the economy advantage. He should try to continue to do damage, but also defend at home and hopefully go up for.
You remember there is a hole in the wall here from ClassicPro still.
Where's
or
the
did
hole?
you see that previously? On the right side of ClassicPro's base, there is a palisade gate over here.
Yeah.
There is a hole right next to it.
And here comes the knights. That's a lot of knights.
And he's just gonna finish the wall, right? Yeah, but still, palisade gate against that many knights, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Look at that, the knights are just turning back. Just in the final moment.
But yet again, like I transport. Look at him. Stonegate is going to be able to keep out those knights for quite some time.
Yeah, and yeah, okay. For a second, I thought that ClassicPro will just transport those crossbows to the central island, but it looks like he's going to go for the eco. Still, I'm not exactly sure how much villagers he could pick off with those crossbows. So, gold miners do have a defensive tower, and yeah, looks like this is some beautiful walling over here from ClassicPro trying to keep out the knights.
Knights might be in. Are they in?
Hey, they're
Panic
in.
time for ClassicPro just as the lag gets higher, and they're in.
Oh boy, they're in, and this is gonna be a disaster. I think all GoldenEnd needs to focus on is just kill as many villagers as he can.
He needs to kill a good 10, good 15, maybe 20.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Instead, he was actually just focusing on that house for quite a time. That's a villager there. Come on. This is not the most efficient use of knights. Especially considering that he has lost quite a number of villagers at the back of his base to the crossbows eventually. That's at least 4 villagers as I can count it.
And the villager difference has gotten even larger.
Yeah, so if he can do major damage with these knights over here, as we're gonna see some beautiful quick walls there from houses. Wait, that other house is not going up because the pikemen were standing on it. That's so bad.
Friendly fire.
His own pikemen were just blocking the house from being built, and now this is exactly what he needs.
This is a big knight raid. This is going to be good.
This is a beautiful knight, exactly what he needed. Now he's gonna just decrease that deficit by so much. Look at that. I'm not exactly even sure if ClassicPro can clean this up. I mean, look at this, just 2 pikes.
I think he will be able to eventually. A lot of these knights are pretty low.
Yeah. He's gonna be able to eventually clean it up, but yet again, how much damage will they cause? Look at, if he's going for lumberjacks, then this can be an even larger disaster. Another villager dead. He needs to go for lumberjacks.
I think so. The problem is I don't think these knights regenerate. So they will go down eventually, but still that villager difference did even up quite a bit. It's now 50 to 64.
Yeah, these knights will go down very soon, but just the amount of damage they did, look at that. It's gonna be like a 10.
And look at this at the castle! Look at the castle! Oh man!
Doubt, is that you?
The Mangonos came in at just the right time.
73%.
Look at the villagers!
Doubt in the house. And now villager lead for GoldenEnd. He also has officially ClassicPro doubting his way out of his tournament, it looks like.
Oh, you have to be kicking yourself if you're ClassicPro. This is so bad.
Well, he really tried to force that because he knows that there is a... I mean, look at this. I understand it to one point because this is definitely desperation time. Knights are just pouring inside his base non-stop. Just look at that. So, yeah, the knights eventually will be cleaned up over here on the left side, but again, already a huge amount of knights coming inside again. And he's just cleaning up the houses over here, which are blocking the way for GoldenEnd. So he had to make that castle Karambit.
So now ClassicPro is definitely in a worse position this game. He's below in villagers, but GoldenEnd has a lot of resources to work with. Luckily, ClassicPro already has a castle out, so if he wanted to go Karambit, and that was a good option, then that might be an advantage he has. He also has enough stone for another castle. That might be something to consider.
Yeah, TC going up for GoldenEnd. GoldenEnd will be on 3 TCs, 4 TCs very soon, as compared to ClassicPro with just 3 TCs. But more importantly, I think the issue for ClassicPro is that he's completely out of space. Out of space, gonna run out of wood very soon. And let's not forget that he doesn't have water control, so we could see some war galleys. Okay, here comes a galley from GoldenEnd. Is he gonna go for war galleys and try to harass the eco here? That would be glorious.
Yeah, I think ClassicPro, that middle island is begging to be expanded upon. I think that would be a nice safe place for a lot of villagers.
Yeah. I mean, look at this wood line over here in the south. Those villagers could all die to war galleys.
Not if
I mean, actually, he has a dock in the central
He's got the castle up now. And starting to mass a few Karambits. Crazy how even this game just got in about 1 minute after one big night raid and a doubt castle.
Yeah, it was rather about the night raid, I would say. But still, the doubt castle was something that impacted the villager count as well. GoldenEnd doesn't really have any upgrades on those galleys yet, not even fletching. So he won't be able to reach these lumberjacks just now. But this could be a beautiful place to harass the eco of ClassicPro as well. Also, war galleys could actually reach the farmers on these farmlands, so... Yeah, the fact that ClassicPro is kinda cornering here, and he has limited space, is gonna mean that war galleys could definitely help GoldenEnd over here.
ClassicPro, did he sell his castle? He sold a bunch of stone, and now he has no stone left.
I think he sold it. He had to sell it.
Oh, that's a shame. Here comes the Karambits. One big Mangonel shot can kill them all. Oh, big one.
That was definitely kind of an alright Mangonel shot, I would say. And eventually, Imperial Age is coming for GoldenEnd. Let's see, galleys coming his way as well. He's still not upgrading those. If he had some decent war galleys, then those witches would already be dead from ClassicPro. I feel like, okay, archery range being sneaked by ClassicPro, but it's not even gonna go up. I mean, look at that. Villagers arriving from GoldenEnd. Even if this goes up, which I highly doubt. Hello? I mean, GoldenEnd should react to this one.
The tower? What? It's
I
not
think
that complicated.
He's expecting ClassicPro to actually just wall himself around, so he's gonna go for tower directly.
Okay.
I think ClassicPro doesn't really have the chance to notice it. Yeah, he's actually focusing on his farmlands being just destroyed by these galleys. Botkin arrow coming up now. He's still not making war galleys. And eventually the pikes are closing on the Mangonels of GoldenEnd. This could be one beautiful hit from the Mangols if he places that right. Oh, let's see. Not that great. Not great. Still, he could kill it.
Looks like
Pikeman
will win this time.
Yeah, Pikeman will win this time. And he will be able to push back the knights for some time as well. And tower will be finished as well. still huge fishing eco lead for GoldenEnd over here. And like I said, once he has War Galley, which he's researching right now, he's gonna be able to harass the eco of ClassicPro so hard.
So as of this point, GoldenEnd with the much better eco. Both players are in the Imperial Age. Is there any civilization you prefer at this late stage of the game?
Well, Cobra cars, maybe. At this point, like I said, problem is for ClassicPro, it's not about the civilization. It's about the fact that he's completely cornered. Look at how close everything he is in his base. I mean, just one more raid, or even a few war galleys, should be able to just pick off quite a number of villagers. So I feel like if it doesn't expand, then it doesn't really matter what civ he is with. Also, ClassicPro will be up to Imperial quite fast because, well, he's Malays. Let's see. Trying to sneak up with villagers on GoldenEnd still, but looks like the scout will just find it and kill the villager. I still think that GoldenEnd needs something to fight against those pikes, as Galleon and Bracer is gonna hit, and yeah, Galleon should be alright. I mean, look at this. GoldenEnd transitioning to Navy.
It's going to be hard to finish your opponent, I think, on this map. I mean, if GoldenEnd goes full Navy... I don't know, I just imagine ClassicPro, he's adding a few towers to the water. I imagine he'll get harbors eventually, which would be hard to finish him. And I think it might come down to a land battle in the very end.
Yeah, could do that, but yet again, these are very thin waters, so eventually, I think GoldenEnd's galleons could do quite decent damage on the villagers, and GoldenEnd's Lonely Scout is a hero now, picking off multiple villagers here on the north.
Finally, will go down. Hasn't been noticed till now.
But still, another villager picked off there. He picked that off 3 villagers with that Lonely Scout. That's absolutely worth it. Looks like he's going for more crossbows. Still, I feel like those galleons could be used better. Yeah, this is exactly what he needs to go for. Go for the farmers, go for the lumberjacks. That's what he needs to do. Harass the eco. If he wants to be really committed to this one, then he could even try taking some galleons to the central lake. Looks like ClassicPro is playing this aggressive, going forward with additional villagers.
And I like the choice of army for GoldenEnd. He's going into Elite Skirmisher. Counter the Arbalest and the potential pikemen from ClassicPro. ClassicPro has docked the middle island and might be thinking about maybe a town center there. That would be something that would be very beneficial. I could see a little bit of a comeback for ClassicPro, again, if he wants to get onto harbors and dock all around the extensive shoreline.
Yeah, that could be one way to do it. As we're gonna see a pikeman sinking the galleon of GoldenEnd here on the left side. Eventually, could we see Condotieros?
Probably not. Maybe just a few. They're ever since they've been nerfed, they're more of a anti-gunpowder unit only.
Yeah, the thing is that no relics taken up by either player. And look at that. GoldenEnd's eco is kind of a little bit messy, so he has the villager lead, but quite a few of his lumberjacks are idle over there, so that's not a great scenario for him. Looks like ClassicPro moving forward with a lot of villagers building houses over there. And eventually gonna go for this woodline. Oh, this is gonna be a contested woodline over here in the north.
Yeah, big potential for a lot of dead villagers. Good raiding avenue if ClassicPro wanted to raid down there. And same thing for GoldenEnd.
Yeah, that's true. Not enough elite skirms at this point for GoldenEnd. I feel like, okay, now he's coming to the reinforcements, so he should be quite alright. This could go on forever.
This is a very stalematey map. Maybe this should be its own map with a little island in the middle. Pretty unique.
Yeah, indeed. It would make it even more interesting, to be honest. So looks like we're gonna see a lot of stables coming up from GoldenEnd. What is he going for? Gonna go for Cavalier? Yes, we're gonna have a Trebuchet coming up from ClassicPro.
That's just a solid army, though. Elite Skirmisher plus Cavalier.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to do it. Elite Skirms is just casually walking by that knight over there. GoldenEnd is gonna react to this one. Doesn't look like it. Okay, now he's reacting. Finally. Guard Towers from GoldenEnd. Guard Towers. Okay, he's got Tower Devote here from ClassicPro. So, I feel like GoldenEnd has way better map control at this point, at least on the outside rim. On the inside, it's kind of questionable.
As far as map control goes, I think GoldenEnd has one more gold as well.
Yep, and yeah, the villager count kind of speaks for itself at this point. Also, kill death ratio is highly in the favor of GoldenEnd. So I think right now this is still looking better for GoldenEnd. At this point, he's gonna get the stables up, going for keep.
Much better, but I don't think ClassicPro should accept defeat until he gets the harbor upgrade. I really want to see that.
Yep, Karambits though. Karambits could be decent against those skirms. I mean, look at them.
They can be, but they need the upgrades, and that's going to be too hard.
What is GoldenEnd doing with these skirms?
Yeah.
That's not the way to play that. What? Okay, he's trying to come down to the shoreline, I'm pretty sure, to get help from the galleons. But now, why do that?
Not the best use of army control from GoldenEnd.
Yeah, that is absolutely not a bad use. Now he's just trying to do his best. Still, he's gonna lose quite a number of skirms. Meanwhile, he's gonna go for light cavs, looks like. Getting his stables strapped down already, going for light cavs instead of cavaliers. And it looks like he's just gonna tower the northern region, denying the wood from ClassicPro. So ClassicPro will have to transition to the central island for some more wood access. And yeah, look at that. GoldenEnd is playing this with towers. Gonna place towers from the left side, just pushing ClassicPro even more back. And yeah, look at the eco on the right side for ClassicPro. He basically gets all the villagers over here, so...
I just don't see a win scenario for ClassicPro where he doesn't get some sort of more map control. I like that he's in the middle, actually. That's really the only positive thing for him. But he's really being squeezed between the galleons and between the towers.
Yeah, that's true. So, unless he gains some more map control, it's going to be extremely tough for him to win this one. Here come the light cav raids, and there is nothing that can really fight those light cavs at this point. So just Karambits and Arbus. He can run inside the eco over here, and this could be a beautiful time to pick off quite a number of villagers. He's going to eventually engage the military of ClassicPro directly, but once he gets some decent light cav numbers up, he should be alright, killing a lot of villagers here on the right side. And basically the problem for ClassicPro is that he doesn't really have anywhere to run. So he cannot fall back to the back of his base because there are galleons, towers roaming around.
And there's the
Looks
GG.
like he's gonna go for 3 crossbows. Okay, GG, good luck next. ClassicPro giving it up. And eventually, just one thing to point out in this series. The match on Saltmarsh.
Man, some crazy games in this series, wow.
Yeah, it's
crazy quick games, crazy long games.
Yeah, so it started very fast, but after that it eventually turned out to be a 4-hour-long series.
Wow.
And yeah, the thing is that ClassicPro almost won Saltmarsh over there, and eventually that would have meant that he wins this series. So losing that one kind of cost him. Well, obviously he could have won on different maps as well, but definitely that was his best chance to win this series.
Anyway.